Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to a very greedy evening, because it is a greedy evening, because we're going to discuss the greed that is ufology, and we'll probably discuss some of the nice stuff in the field. There is nice things happening in the field. New people popping up everywhere. They just need to. They do not know what they've got themselves into. Tonight, we have my good friend. Well, we are going to have to. There is somebody else coming on. We're going to get Scott Browne in at some point, but Scott's running a little bit late. But Stu Little, welcome to the show, my good friend.
How you doing? You all right?
I'm very good. I'm very good. You are an interesting man, because ever since you started to dabble within the Calvine, we did the Calvine stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You've been on the scene for quite a long time, just being a fan of the UFO channels and just the subject in general. But I hope you don't mind if we speak about a little bit about what's going on with you, Stu.
Yeah, you can say a little bit.
I can say what's happening then.
Yeah, of course you can.
Good. I do this all the time, and then somebody it's actually happened where somebody's gone, no, you can't, and then the audience is like, well, you just did that just to, get his nipples hard, and then, walked away.
Yeah.
And then he said something else. You're making a documentary. A UFO documentary.
Yes.
Well,
I'm going to try my best.
Not a UFO documentary, but a documentary about a certain person who's big in the field of UFOs.
Yeah, the urge got the better of me about a month ago now. Would I say a month? Have I been talking to you about it for a month? And I started doing some... No, it's longer than that, actually. I started doing some research, and then the floodgates opened. Pandora's box got cracked open. I thought, oh, God, this is too good not to do. So, yeah, I'm taking my time with it, because obviously I've got to, like you, work for a living, and I'm just slowly working through it. But you can tell them what it is if you want.
Well, that's I'm not going to blow your load for you.
Right, okay.
I'll give them a clue. Okay. I'll give them a massive clue. Okay. Here's the massive clue.
Yeah, that's the man, the myth, the legend, Stephen Greer. I obviously have been watching you guys and all the different shows over the years, and when I first went into ufology, you quickly come across the disclosure press conference thing that you did in 2001, and I thought, wow, was very much in awe of it. But the shine starts to come off of Stephen Greer, Dr. Greer, quite quickly after that. Now, I'm not saying the guy is not genuine or whatever, but there's a lot of holes in his narrative. And I started digging. In the first place, I dug because I thought, I know how to get in contact with these people. Was I contacted the Clinton Library and Museum in Little Rock.
Just quickly, Stu, because the UFO community are very suspicious of everyone, so they're going to get suspicious of you. So you have your career has been in cameras, editing. That's what you do.
Basically, the day job is photographer and filmmaker. I primarily do video editing and stuff now, and teaching video editing, and that's purely because of the pandemic. That kind of came about because just I had to change like everybody else and adapt. But I've been involved with and edited and written scripts for, and just been a part of quite a few documentaries.
So yeah, sorry to cut you off there. I just wanted them to kind of know your background a little bit.
I'm
And
not a newbie to this. I mean, I've been doing
Yeah.
it for 30 years, and I've been doing sort of video documentary side of things for 15 years. So,
and you're
I've
making a
been,
documentary about Stephen Greer.
yeah, it's too good not to. But I mean, I started to kind of get the idea about doing it through Third Phase's. Is it Above Top Secret they did earlier? Was it this year or last year? Can't remember.
Yeah, it was this year.
Was it
I
this
think
year?
it was this year. Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
bought it. So.
Yeah, I bought it as well. So they'll be glad to hear.
See,
We do give them money.
Mike and Brent, we do support you, even though we think you're full of shit sometimes, you know.
But no, I watched that, and like one of the things that Dr. Greer tends to do is plead poverty. And then when I saw his beautiful home, is it in Virginia or Ohio, wherever it is, it's like, wow, that's not a inexpensive plot of land you've got there, my friend. And it just makes me think, well, if you can afford to have that, because even on a trauma, doctor's salary, that's a big property. So he must be making bank when it comes to all the is it CE5, SE5, close enough.
CE5, yeah.
CE5, yeah. He must be making big money. Sorry, well, my son's just about to interrupt us. I'm on live. Bye bye.
I'm sorry to interrupt your alien charger. What?
Is he wanting to ask me about UFOs again?
Probably.
No, nothing about aliens this time. I've discovered
Right.
The audience,
Bye.
I had a conversation with after a show with Stu's son for
I know,
about I think it was about a good like half an hour on his UFO sighting, which you're gonna have to tell us about that in a bit.
Yeah, that was a fun one. That was all him, nothing to do with me. I missed it. But yeah, he definitely saw something weird. Anyway, so I saw Above Top Secret and things didn't add up. And I started to make some inquiries. The first inquiry I made about was he's always going on about how he briefed Clinton and his staff about, ufology and all that kind of stuff. And if you really, really, really dig deep, you and I would imagine briefing somebody as a bit like the West Wing. He's brought into the Oval Office, sat on the lovely comfy couch, and he's briefing the president about what's going on with ufology today. That's not what he means. He is basically saying he's put together a 20 or 30 or 40 page, package of A4 paper, and he's giving them information that way.
Yeah, I think Cambion said the same thing. That's what he's doing. He's just sending them out of pack. So he's not lying. And thank you very much, Heather Birdie. I do appreciate you. And I haven't seen you in a while, so I hope you're doing well.
He's not lying. He's definitely not lying, but he is stretching the truth to the max. Now, I contacted the Clinton Museum and Library, as each president gets a library once they've come out of office. And they have a pretty good resource person there, and they did a little bit of research for me. And as far as they can tell, apart from meetings that are classified, like stuff with the director of the CIA and stuff like that, the most meetings are logged. And even general, like the president gets a briefing, I think, every single morning, early in the morning. At least, I don't know if Trump did, but Biden certainly does, and Obama did. But they get a briefing first thing, usually from the FBI and the CIA, and they tell them, what's the latest threats, what's going on, and things like that. So those meetings are logged and quite clearly marked, CIA director or deputy director or whoever's held the meeting with the president. So, but there's other meetings that get put down and maybe coded or just are not as obvious. But anyway, they went through all of the diaries, of which there's numerous diaries, and there's nothing there about a Dr. Stephen Greer. Now, I'm still going to dig deeper and get what I call receipts. I want to see documentation. So I'm going to get, obviously, I'm not going to go all the way over.
We've been speaking back and forth about this on, how you're going to do this for the documentary, because you're going to need proof to everything that's been said.
Yeah, I mean, that's the difference between myself, and this is no disrespect to Stephen Cambion or anybody else out there. I need to be speaking to people, interviewing people, and getting them on camera. Whether that's through a Zoom conversation like this, or whether that's in person, I go and film them or that. They need to be on camera, and
but that's because you make documentaries, so that's what you do. It has to be done.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. You've got to get the person basically speaking truth to camera, and telling us what is their point of view. So that's my plan. It's going to take a while. I reckon if I'm going to do this properly, it might not even be out until the end of next year at the earliest.
Well, Spooky says here, been working on discussions on Corey Good for 3 years. Good luck with the project. Yeah, I think Corey Good, he won't want. He'll only be interviewed by the people who are kind of in on it.
Yeah,
David Wilcock.
Yeah. Plus, is he not the one that's he's quite litigious, is he not? He likes to sue people.
Oh yeah, I've heard a bit about that. Yeah, I like to stay out of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, me too. So anyway, obviously I've been warned by yourself and other people that Dr. Greer likes to strike channels. So that's why you're getting the exclusive premiere of the video when it launches.
Just to be very clear on that, Stu, he didn't strike my channel.
Did he not? Right.
His company did.
Right.
But it copyright claimed it. So he didn't strike it. He copyright claimed it. And I think I don't exactly know how it works on YouTube, but I think you can have like an automatic certain, maybe I can have them where it goes looking out for my, literally as soon as I put his content up.
I think if you have a management company that manages your channel for you, I think they can do it.
I was sticking up for him as well.
Yeah,
I was talking about Gary Nolan moving over to TTSA and taking the
See, I mean, there's a good point actually.
Little person's results.
The Atacama. I've started to dig into the Gary. Literally, it's a spider's web of like Dr. Greer's life, and when it comes to likes of Gary Nolan, I think he was absolutely shafted by Nolan and TTSA. I think the information that they were potentially going to get off of what they had done in terms of the DNA and that on that little creature thing, I think he got shafted, quite frankly. So yeah, it's not going to be a hit piece. It's going to be an intellectual look at Stephen Greer, and I'm even going all the way back to his career in medicine. So it's a bit of a kind of, how can I put it, an unauthorized biography.
Like a Who's Greer?
Yeah, Who's Greer? Yeah, Who's Lou? Who's Greer? Yeah, it's basically going to be like that, but a little bit more in depth, a lot more interviews. We're going to keep the quality up, and as I've said already to you, I want to put it on your channel because, I mean, yes, I've got a YouTube channel, but it's completely different from ufology. So I would quite like it if you hosted it and got the benefit of it, and then we can see where it goes from there. But it's going to take a while to make, but it's been interesting so far. I mean, for example, I told this just a little while ago, I have actually got a member of Greer's staff willing to speak. They're going to be in silhouette. I have to change their voice, but they are a member of Greer's staff currently. So I'm not obviously going to tell you their name. So that's exciting.
We did speak about that, and you actually didn't tell me their name.
No, I can't. I just can't because I don't want to lose. I haven't done anything.
I get it.
Yeah, I haven't done anything in terms of recording them, and obviously, this is a live broadcast going out on YouTube, so any one of Dr. Greer's team could see this at any point because you don't delete your content. It stays up there forevermore. So they could go back and they're now wondering, oh, who's the mole? So I'm not giving up anybody or even a hint.
Some famous people in this documentary.
Could be certain rock band people, maybe, if you know what I mean.
Interesting.
ZZ Top, heard of them?
Honestly, so the people. This is definitely going to be something to talk about until this gets done. And
yeah, because I keep discovering things every single day. Like I'll put out an email to somebody and think, right, okay, we'll see what comes back from that. And then 3 days later, you'll get a cryptic email back that then turns into a Skype conversation. And you're like, oh, wow, right, okay. Because I've already found out stuff about the Admiral Wilson notes that I don't think has been told to anybody as yet, which again, I can't say just now. But as I create it and build it along, what we might do is little snippets here and there to share. So like we might have a wee clip here and there that you'll share, periodically.
You were talking about getting a trailer out.
Yeah, we'll get something going. But there's a lot to do on it.
What is the time frame on this, Stu?
I am hoping to. I've got quite a lot of work to do just now. I need to get it cleared before Christmas, and I'm hoping to kind of get into the documentary a little bit more full time, maybe by the end of January 2023, which means I'm going to need at least 6 to 7 months capturing all the content. The edit after that could be anything from 3, 4, 5, 6 months. So I'm hoping to get it all done and maybe out for this time or like maybe late November next year. But it could be January 2024. But I'm not wanting to put an actual time frame on it and say it's going to be such and such a date, because it is your man there just said. I mean, he's been doing a project in Corey Good for 3 years. But at some point I'm going to switch over from dabbling with it and just pulling little resources and testing the waters into working on it full time. That's going to be my thing for the next year. But I've got to make sure the money's coming in. And we've got another guest.
It's Scott Browne.
What's up, people?
What's up,
Life
Scott?
from the
You're
car.
all right. Look at that. He's looking cool as a cucumber. Scott, have you been listening to the show?
I have not. I've been in my car, so I pulled over so I could log in because I didn't want to let you down.
Oh no! Listen, Scott. You come on many a times, man. If you can make it, you can make it. If you can't, you can't. That's what I always say.
Yeah, I can stay for a little bit, but I got to do some stuff. But I just wanted to patch in for a little bit.
Yeah, I know you wanted to say some things last week, so you want to come on and address that. But just quickly, Scott, this is Stu. This is Stu Little, and he's been on the channel before. He's been into the field for quite a while. He works on documentaries for a living and photography. He's making a documentary on Stephen Greer.
Oh,
and
nice.
And maybe not a positive one. we might have some positives.
It'll have some positive elements. It's not a hit piece. I'm not deliberately going out there to slam the guy, but it's not looking good so far. Let's put it that way.
And he's just said there's possibly an interview with a certain rock band member.
A certain what?
Rock band member.
Oh, is that ZZ Top?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, my take on Greer is, I think the price right now is up to, I think it's something like $3,000 to go on one of his little excursions. So I always tell people, you can do that same thing in places in your own yard. Just go and get a camera, and you don't have to pay money to go do that. But because Greer's doing it, they think he's bringing them to these special locations and all this crap. It's a load of crap. The guy's a grifter. He's been doing it for years. Now, let me just rewind for a second and say that in the beginning, he did a lot for disclosure. He brought a bunch of the guys together when he first started back in, 91 or 93 or something. And I think he had good intentions in the beginning, but then once nothing everything petered out from that, he just started to turn it into a business, and now it's just a business. I mean, you know, there's a lot of them out there, but yeah, I would definitely love to see a good documentary covering him. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go right into the details and nitty gritty of his life, and I'm even covering some of his life as a trauma doctor as well, because I think that's quite fascinating that you go from
Yeah,
being,
I
you know,
honestly
a
would. I'd like
doctor.
to see that. I
Yeah,
would like to see that.
and I happen to have relatives who live in the same locale, shall we say, as where he worked, in one of the hospitals, main hospitals that he worked in. So I'm kind of hoping they can put a camera on my behalf in front of people, or at least interview people, and I can get them on Zoom or whatever. So because I think that would be interesting as well. So no, by no means is this going to be a hit piece on Stephen Greer, but so far the things that I have come across that he goes on about in terms of briefing presidents and things like that, which I'm getting proper evidence on, it's a load of nonsense. You know, you maybe sent them a package or whatever with ufology information, but he's never briefed a president from what I can tell so far, and I've only dug through 2 presidents. I've got 2 more to do. So
Yeah, that would be fascinating. I'd love to see that.
it's going to take a while. It's definitely going to be next year, late next year, and maybe even January, February 2024 before it is ready. But my aim is to get it out in Ollie's channel. And then that way it can go up completely for free, and Ollie can premiere it, and we'll just see where it goes from there.
I'm very excited about this. And just quickly, Heather, thank you very much for the kind donation. Any Patreon level, if somebody wants me to send them something, I will send them something. I've removed all levels. So if you donate 50p or whatever the smallest one is, you all get the same. I don't believe in tiers anymore. You know, it's everybody's, whatever you can donate, that's fine. So I will send you a piece of art. I emailed you probably about 6 months ago asking you what you wanted. Just check the Patreon messages. But yeah, thank you for the super chat though. I appreciate it. I do want to get back to to Greer, but Scott, I know you don't have a lot of time. You did want to come in last week and talk about what was going on with Third Phase of Moon, and your thoughts on that channel. I will say I have messaged me. You've been on the show many a time, but if you don't mind me saying so, you did message me a while back and said, "Ollie, love you to pieces, but please don't invite me on the show when Third Phase of Moon are on."
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had all intentions of doing it and going on there with them, and it wasn't like it scared me off or anything. Blake and I have kind of gone at it a little bit here and there, but the whole situation about Third Phase of Moon is how Rich and I met last year, and we met online because we got in an argument about Third Phase of Moon.
And you became friends.
Yes, and he invited me on this show, and we disagreed. We totally disagreed, and we still disagree. I think they are one of the worst things for ufology. You know, here's the thing, okay, and this is the thing that bugs me. You find somebody that finds one of their videos from, let's say, 7 years ago, and they share it. What they don't know is that it's been debunked, and people, fully debunked, and people have brought up the exact situation, the location, everything. It's been proven. These guys do not go back and do follow-up videos. So those videos will stay on YouTube, and people will keep sharing them for years because they have no idea. Those guys are out to make money, and that's all. They're not ufologists. Nobody refers to their channel for ufology. It's bottom of the barrel ufology. Rich loves them, and hey, that's his thing. If he wants to do that, that's fine. I'm not going to hold it against him. but they are bad for ufology. They put these wrong ideas in people's heads. I mean, a lot of the stuff gets debunked almost instantly when it's uploaded. There's been times where they've put up videos and it's taken me 15, 20 minutes to debunk it, to go on and look up the location, find out what happened. They're not doing that because they don't want that. They want the clicks, they want the subscriptions, that's what they're looking for. So, I mean, I would love to see a channel where somebody puts up a video and says, hey, what do you think this is? Could it possibly be this? Could it be this? And then they come back and they start their new video with a follow-up on the ones that they posted and say, look, we found out that this was, a light bulb shaped balloon, or this is, this was a lens flare. They're not going to do that because that's going to take away from their revenue.
I have seen the odd one that they've done where they've kind of corrected themselves, but I mean, it's the odd one.
Just one, Ollie.
So as a business, and Scott, you know as well as I do, ufology is a business.
Yes.
For a lot of people, it is a business. And I put the thumbnail for this video out on Twitter, and the title of the video, "The Greed of UFOLOgy," ufology, whatever you guys want to call it, yeah. And somebody said on the Twitter, so do you not make ad revenue? so I said, well, yeah, I get an average of about 1,500 maybe views.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody knows what that makes.
I mean,
but that makes less than $1.
Right. And are they actually looking at the amount of subscribers that they have? I mean, come on. Would they got 100,000 subscribers or something?
No, they've got 800,000 subscribers. Third phase.
Yeah, they're cruising towards 1 million.
Scott, you really haven't looked at that channel for a long time, have you?
Yeah. I haven't looked at their page in so long.
Years ago.
But the thing is, for people to make remarks like that, to run a show, you've got to raise some money. You've got to invest in your equipment and your software, and then, time to do the research. Now, that is totally understandable. I don't put anybody down for that at all. But these guys are pulling in big dollars. They're making a living off of this. And I mean, you can go to people and say, pick something off of Third Phase's channel that is authentic, that has been proven to be an unknown. Just pick something. And these guys they're just posting trash. They're just finding stuff and they're posting it, the other night with that, I think it was a couple weeks ago, it was like some kind of type of water droplet on the lens and it was catching the light. And I mean, this is just ridiculous. Blake and his brother, they're going to keep doing it. And they haven't changed. No matter what Rich says, they haven't changed. And Rich, if you see this, you can get
Rich. He's in the chat. Rich is in the chat.
Yeah, I see that.
He's going to get mad about it because he loves Third Phase. I think they're one of the.
No, but he respects you, and I think he respects you even more. I didn't realize you met because of your disagreement with Third Phase.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, and it's good that Rich knows my feelings on Third Phase, and for the record, people that are saying that me and Rich are going to fall out over this, me and Rich have been fine. We've been messaging back and forth after the show. We haven't fallen out.
And that's how it should be. I mean, people should talk about things and not get into wars online. And, him and I disagree. I still feel the same way I did when I first spoke to him. I think it's a terrible channel. It's just junk. It's all junk. We need a serious channel out there where people are submitting things that they're filming. It's.
Well, how? Okay, so
but but I mean, you can lump them in with people like Secure Team, what are Section 51, Alien Planet. There are so many of them that do this.
Section 51 and Secure Team I am friends with. But Section 51 came out, I think, 2 years ago, maybe, and said I'm sorry, everything on our channel is fake and it's CGI.
Yes, which I thought was absolutely stunning. I couldn't believe that they did that.
But he still makes them. He still makes the alien CGI thing. I interviewed him, and in the interview, you know,
is that the French guy, Ollie?
The French guy, yeah, he's a lovely bloke.
Right, yeah.
And he's like, well, I never thought anybody would believe that there's a massive spaceship over the pyramids, you know. He says, I'm a CGI artist and I love aliens. Do I think that Section 51 thought some of the public probably believed it? Yes, 100%.
Oh yeah,
100%. Yes.
Did the History Channel not run a show thinking one of his was real?
Yes, it was
on an aircraft carrier.
It was the TR-3B that was on the aircraft carrier. I interviewed him after that, and he did an amazing breakdown and showed how it was made, how he did it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the History Channel actually took, even though his channel, I think for about a year, had been where he had said it's all fake. The History Channel went with it.
It clearly says on his original video, this is CGI. It's not real.
All of them. He's renamed all the videos. All of them.
I think it was on. Wasn't it on The Proof Is Out There?
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, Scott. Because I mean, what the boys do, Third Phase of Moon, and people might say that I don't think I was being aggressive last week. I was just saying it how I see it. I wanted to speak about it mainly because I'd had emails back and forth with the channel that had made the documentary on Third Phase of the Moon that had received the copyright strike, which I don't agree with. I think if you're going to put fake stuff out, you need to be prepared for the consequences. And that I've always respected Third Phase of the Moon for never copyright striking me, and Secure Team 10 for never copyright striking me. So I thought, if I'm going to do the debunks, you don't copyright strike me, that's fine. But as soon as they did that, I thought, I'm going to have to step in here. I need to talk about this. This is not right. Then the Brent's boy got brought up, which I do agree with what Lee said. The boy should have been blurred out, but Third Phase did put that out. But how do we move on from here, Scott? Because Third Phase of Moon are not going anywhere, and I don't think they should go anywhere. You know, they've built up a business, and it is a business. Well, they are.
I mean, what they're
how would they turn it around for you? Okay, how would they turn it around for you, Scott?
So if I was to one day, so when I started, let me just say this first. When I started in the field on Facebook, the first thing I did was gather a list of all channels that were not allowed in the group. And obviously, Third Phase of Moon was right at the top of the list. The other ones, like we were just talking about, Section 51, I filled a page, and every year that page got bigger and bigger, and there was just too many of them. So if they were to say, look, they shoot a new video, they come on, they say, listen, we've been involved with some stuff that was questionable in the past. We'd like to turn our channel around and take it seriously. From now on, when we're submitted our clips, we're going to go back and do a follow-up, and we're going to show you what was found by people online or by us, and then you decide. but not to leave the video as it is and say, okay, well, let's let people decide. That's horrible. That's a horrible way of doing it. Then they're passing it around for years and years and years. There's still people passing stuff around from when they first came out. You know, look at this footage. It's incredible, you know, and it's ridiculous. So
I think you've just given them a great way to increase their revenue.
I think that they could really blow up their channel if they just went full blown, clean, honest. Let's examine it. Let's bring in some image people like myself. Doesn't have to be me.
So they put the video out. They stick to the same plan. So they put the videos out that they're getting all these submissions, or they find the stuff that's trending. They put that out and they say, we'll get back to you in 3 days. So you know, they have a structure to it, and they
exactly
and then at the end it shows the ones that remained still unknown.
Right. So every show overlaps with the one after it, where they do a follow-up. And it can just be a quick follow-up. This was found, this location, these people admitted it, whatever. And it would be so simple for them to do that, yet they still refuse to do it. They throw it up. What's this? You know, what happened here? Is this amazing footage? You know, just like sensationalistic, ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So I think, you know, for me, being a researcher and being out there with cameras all the time, the channel is just garbage. It's garbage, and people shouldn't follow them. Now,
Do you not think, Scott, that they should follow up with, like, if they get a video in and it's somebody who's in LA or something, like even doing a Zoom call with the person to get their opinion about what they saw, you know, and actually interview the person that filmed it.
Yeah, see, that's another way to do it too. Totally. I mean, you can have on the people, you know, say, get some testimony from the person. Well, what was going on at the time? You know, where were you? You know, and a lot of times they'll post things and they'll go, well, you know, they want the location withheld. They don't want you to look at it. You know, and it's just, they need to stop doing that. If they're going to become legitimate, they need to go about it a completely different way and totally change their whole channel. I think it would benefit them, but they disagree. Blake has, you know, told me that I'm stupid. I don't know what I'm talking about. You know, I mean, that's how he feels. Of course, he doesn't realize that my degree is in digital imaging, and I've been looking at this stuff for 30 years, you know, and I don't, you know, don't get me wrong. I don't consider myself an expert. I consider myself experienced, and that's all, you know. So, and they could get guys on the show that have a degree in digital imaging or a degree in video or CGI, and have them look at it, have serious people look at it. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. It's easier to put the footage out than it is to go out and debunk the footage.
Yeah. And you know how Rich always says, well, they received it last night and they wanted to get it out as fast as they could. You know, that's no excuse. That's no excuse at all. Do the research. You know, do the research. If you've got the location, it's like the guy that, what was it, last year, he put out a video and a photograph of a giant craft over some city. I think it was Paraguay or something. And I drove downtown at night, got in my car, took a picture of the reflection of my dashboard off my windshield, and it matched it almost exactly. It was a different windshield a different dashboard because it was a different vehicle. But the effect was exactly the same. And I knew what it was right when I saw it. And they were playing this up. Oh, he's got video of it. Well, of course he's got video. He shot video and photos of a reflection on his windshield. You know, the stuff was, if they're so experienced, they should be picking that stuff out right away. Right away.
Yeah. Heather Birdie just said here, I don't think Goofon should be a mod anymore. Heather, I probably should have no UFO channels as mods, to be fair. And that's no disrespect to any UFO channel. But if another UFO channel disagrees with another UFO channel, it can get messy. So
Yeah.
My message to all UFO channels, if you got other me and Rich are still are good mates, but all mods, get rid of all UFO channels as mods, because it just means that, if they don't like you, fuck off. Not that I don't think Rich should do that. But yeah, UFO channels are not mods anymore.
Yeah. So listen, I gotta on Ollie.
No worries. Thank you for joining us, Scott. I know you wanted to say your piece on that, and I think that you've brought up a really good positive there. How you can, I think they could get another show out of this, a different type of show.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's another guy. I just posted a link. I did an interview with him. It's on my Twitter. I did the interview back in like 2013, 2014 when I first started ITF. But he's got a show called UFO Planet. His name is Darren Crapo.
Yes, I know Darren. No, I don't actually know him, but he's great.
Yeah, so
he does the whole newsroom thing, doesn't he?
Yeah, I've been on the show a couple of times. And he always asks like good questions. He's so experienced at looking at this stuff that he'll say, well, do you think it looks like a balloon? Because he's getting a balloon feel from it. Or does it look like a flock of birds or whatever? But he's very grounded. He doesn't play it up and try to sensationalize it. They need to do something like that, like a real serious news show for YouTube.
Yeah. Scott, do me a favor. Let's arrange a show, and I'd love you and Darren to come on.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah. Could you have a chat with him for me? Because obviously you're friends. I know Darren generally keeps himself to himself these days. Yeah. I've not seen him go on a lot of shows. I think I recall about 2 interviews I've ever seen him do. But he's a great guy. He's got such a good style of what he does.
Yeah, he's so private. He stays private, but I think I could get him to do it. I'll talk to him and I'll ask him. I would love to do that.
Yeah. Because I'm not a UFO guy. I'm just a guy that has a channel that talks about the subject. That's it. I rely on you UFO people.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I would love to do that. I will take care of that, Ollie.
Yeah. Well, Scott, you go do what you got to do, mate. And I appreciate you coming on. And you look cool as a cucumber tonight, mate.
All right. Thanks, Ollie.
See you later, Scott.
See you, Scott. Cheers.
Bye-bye. Lovely bloke, Scott. And I did notice that Rich did say in the comments that I'm not a researcher. Rich, you're right. I am not a researcher. I don't have time to do research. I work 40 odd hours in the week. This is my hobby, as you know. I come on here and I talk like one of you guys in the chat about what's going in the subject. Do I talk about the drama in the subject? Yeah, because that's what everybody's speaking. That's pretty much all I see on a week is the drama. So I'll address it by the end of the week. But yeah, you're right, Rich. I'm not a researcher. Definitely not. But I will tell you this. I did debunk Third Face of Moon. So yeah, stick that in your pipe and smoke it. But I still love Rich. He's my bro. We won't fall out.
I don't think you will fall out. I mean, I can see Rich's point of view, and I can also see your point of view as well. And as like an audience member last week, it was very entertaining. I liked it. In fact, I really liked it. You know, it got very heated at one point, and to be honest with you, I thought you and Lee, even from my perspective, were quite heavy on Rich a little bit, and
Probably, yeah.
maybe not as heavy as you should have been with Blake, but Blake, you know, was dangling that, you know, I've got to go and do stuff. You know, he wasn't going to hang around.
The thing is, Stu, and this is what I've said to Rich, you know, and I said it on the show. I said, if you've been paid, you're not being paid enough.
Mm. I mean, I utter respect for Rich in terms of how much he
and he's not being paid.
Supports them.
He's not. I know how it works. He's running Third Phase of Moon UFO Report, whatever it's called, and as somebody else that gets kind of similar views to that, I know what that makes on YouTube, and it's pence. So
yeah,
it's a friendship. It is a friendship. So nobody can accuse Rich of selling out because he's not sold out. If he's sold out, he's sold out on a friendship. So
not for me to comment, but I mean, I just admire the fact that he does, I mean, stick with his friends and stick up for them so religiously. I mean, that's admirable, gotta say. I mean, okay, I mean, one thing Rich is saying in the chat, I've been watching it now and again, he's saying, you know, we need to lay off Third Phase. Why don't we talk about like Linda Moulton Howe or Dolan and stuff like that? You know, because these people are making like all this money, or Nick Pope. You know,
yeah.
I mean, I think Nick Pope has brought out a new book recently, has he not? So I mean, they're all, you know, making a buck or two. I mean, I don't know.
I think the reason why, I'll tell you the reason why we haven't moved away from Third Phase is because a lot of people come here when they see that thumbnail to see talk about Third Phase and Stephen Greer. But you Linda, you're right about her. I mean, she went on, and
again, she started out like as a really credible journalist and researcher, and she did the whole cattle mutilations thing, but it's like anything, like if you do it long enough, you get almost absorbed into it, and it does become, you know, right, what can I do next to make more money? Because there's only it's the same with like Third Phase. There is only so many actual credible UFO videos come out a year. Everything else, 95% of it is nonsense. You know, it's planes or balloons or, you know, objects in the sky that should be there that you just can't work out what they are. And that's what they're leaning on. I get that. You know, I watch Third Phase every morning practically because they tend to release first thing in the morning when I'm having my breakfast. And it's fun. It's entertaining. I don't take it seriously. In the same way that I watch Tyler and Secure Team stuff. And he's got his own style. And I mean, one thing that does irk me about Third Phase is they keep going on about how big they are, by what metric. They say they're the biggest UFO channel on YouTube. By what metric? Because Tyler's got 2 million subscribers. To me, that's much bigger. And I'm not saying he's better.
His views are big. I mean, he got a video the other day that I think it's reached 1 million, and that was like a few days ago. But Spooky, do I support Rich? So no disrespect to Rich or any other YouTube channel that is an alien channel, but I've removed alien channels as mods, so that's no disrespect. And I don't kind of know what you're talking about there with somebody faking cancer. It's that Kyle UFO proof. I know about that, but yeah. I appreciate the super chat though, Spooky. Thank you very much. But yeah, the drama that people have with Rich and me. I'm sorry to cut you off there, Stu, but I kind of need to address. I need to address this. I don't want to get. I do not want people trying to. And I think I've seen Rich said I've not had an apology off my so-called best friend or something for last week. I'm not going to apologize for last week. I said what I said because I meant it, you know. I meant every word about third phase of moon, Rich. Still love you. And do I agree with everything that Goofon says? No, I don't agree with it. But do I agree with everything that Cambion says? Absolutely not. Do I agree with anything that any UFO channel says? No, because I'm my own person, and everybody's got a little bit of drama going on in their lives, in everyday life. Some people take everything to heart, and if it's personal stuff and people getting personal, do not get personal, people. You know, if somebody's poorly, poorly means ill, you know, don't get personal. Just don't. You don't need to do it.
Back in a second.
No
Ollie,
worries.
keep
I
chatting.
want
Give me a sec.
I want to address something anyway,
Sure.
mate.
Okay, you
So-
go for it.
So, guys, I don't watch a lot of the other shows. So I see little things on Twitter about Rich has done this, Rich has called this person this, or Cambion said this, blah, blah, blah. I don't get a chance to watch these big, massive shows because I work loads of hours. So I come on here, I bring people on like Rich because he's a friend of mine, Lee, Stu, and these guys through the week message me and say, this is going on. You need to check this part of this show out. I can't watch all these shows. So some of the stuff that you guys are talking about in the chat, I don't see. But I will tell you this. I know Rich as a person for about, I think it's going on 4 or 5 years now. And me and him have gone back and forth. Some of the things that I think people saying about Rich is just not true because I know the guy. Yeah. Rich is a good person. I think sometimes he says things that come to bite him on the ass. He's Rich. I know you're watching. You speak before you think. Too much. So you need to maybe think before you speak. But some of the stuff that's going on the other channels, I don't get to see it because I'm not. I just work too many hours to get to see that. And when I'm at home on a night, my kids are there, so I'm spending time with the kids and what have you. Anyway, Stu's back.
I'm back.
Sorry about that, mate. I had to address that. Oh, we have to disappear anyway. But
yeah,
it's like there's people telling me that I shouldn't be friends with a certain with Rich or another channel because XYZ. I've seen other people since last week. UFO outside my window. Yeah, it is. I've seen other people since last week's show start to follow me again, start to kind of like talk to me again. And I've realized maybe it's because I have Rich on the show. Would you know what? Rich is always welcome on the show. That's not going to stop because I'm not two-faced. So do I agree with everything Rich says? No, not all. I think Third Phase of Moon are full of shit. I think Third Phase of Moon have made so many fake UFO videos over the years, I don't even think they could count them. I still think that those boys can't change. I think they're probably trying to and probably think, yeah, we need to, but I think they will always have a need to kind of fake something. I do. But does that...
Can we clarify like what I think is going on with Third Phase now is that there's the difference between hoaxing and faking. Rich is quite clearly stated they haven't hoaxed anything themselves for the last 5 years. But you and I know some of the content they're putting up is faked. They're not making it.
It's 2018, not within the last 5 years.
What were you at? 20? That's 4 years.
Yeah. So yeah. So they did the thing on the glass in 2018. They also did the Psionics camera thing. I don't know if you know about that, but that was the helicopter and Blake and Brent were outside the house looking at it, and that thing was pretty close. That doesn't mean to, and listen, for you big UFO guys, you might say, well, we should hate them because of that. I don't hate them.
No.
I couldn't give a shit. I really couldn't give a shit. If they
I
wanna
do find some of their stuff
if they want to do
entertaining.
that, that gives me content to talk about. So, you know, if they want to fake something, I'll say they fake something again. And I kind of kept my mouth shut with it for a while because I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole anymore. But if they do something that's fake, I'm going to speak up about it because then maybe they'll fucking realize and they'll go, you know, I think Scott had the best idea ever. Boys, if you're watching this now, listen to Scott. That's a great idea.
Oh, he definitely.
Sorry, Stu.
Yeah, that's all right. No. I mean, if they took a little bit more time with the content they've got and dug a little bit deeper, and maybe, I mean, how long does it take to get somebody on Zoom? Because obviously they're getting permission from these people to put these videos up. So there must be emails going back and forward. So why not get them on Zoom and have a quick 15-minute conversation with them, cut that into the video, and what is a 6-minute video could be a 20-minute video. You know,
Yeah.
they've got more content, you know, quality over quantity. So rather than banging up 2 or 3 different UFO videos every single day, you know, which 100% most of it's just rubbish, garbage, they could maybe focus on the ones that we don't know are not real or are real or whatever. And, you know, those we're not sure what they are. And there is doubt.
I think
Analyze that a bit more.
Yeah, I think the big problem now is, and I'm going to put the clip out. I found a clip from the interview that I did with Secure Team where he speaks about how much it's ramped up and it's got serious. And he said in that interview, you know, he said he faked UFOs before. Well, he didn't say fake UFO. He said he's faked stuff before. He didn't specify UFOs, but he said, have I faked stuff? Yes. So he owned up to that. But then he said, I didn't know any better. And he was talking about responsibility. And I think now these 2 big players have such a responsibility to the people who believe in this subject, that love this subject, to do something different. And I
mean, I tell you who they should be taking a lead from. James Fox.
He's brilliant. Yeah.
He's a proper.
I've not seen his recent one. He's just done a new one, haven't?
I literally I bought it the other night and I've watched about a third of it, and it's about the UFO sighting and creature in Virginia and Brazil, I think it is. And he obviously filmed it during the height of COVID, so you've got all that within it as well, and the restrictions. And it's fascinating to watch. But he's a proper documentarian, and he gets Peter. I can't remember the guy's second name, but the actor who was originally in E.T. He narrates all these documentaries.
E.T. himself, not E.T. himself. Elliot.
No, he played the Doctor in E.T.
I know. Yes, I know you mean. It's been a few things. I can't remember the actor's name.
I'm just gonna call it up. There we go. Okay.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter what his name is anyway. But
it's gonna bug me though.
James Fox. He's that last document. What's his name gone?
Right, Peter Coyote. That's it. Peter Coyote.
Yeah, I'm still on the riser.
He played the doctor researcher guy in E.T. all those years ago in that Steven Spielberg movie, and he narrates all of James's work, and it's such the editing, the pacing, the storytelling, everything in it is just spot on. That's who these guys should be emulating. That's the benchmark, as far as I'm concerned.
How do you make money off that though? Because I'm going to be very clear here. These, so the third phase of moons, the Stephen Greer's, Dolan, you know, what's his name? David Wilcock. They need to make money because that's their job doing this.
Yeah.
How do you do that and deliver truth constantly, if that makes sense, without just dangling a carrot every now and again?
I mean, I don't know how many documentaries he's actually made on UFOs, but he only makes like one every 2 or 3 years.
Oh yeah, but those are like fine documentaries that take a lot of
But
time to do.
Yeah, there's really not. I mean, that's the thing. It takes time. I mean, that's why the stuff that I'm going to be doing on Greer.
Does he just make UFO documentaries? That I'm sure he's done other documentaries.
No, he's done. I'm pretty sure he's done other things, and I'm pretty sure also he directs for other people.
Yeah,
he's probably behind the scenes in different projects.
It's not his only gig, but he might have a bit of passion in the UFO community, which is good for us because we get good documentaries. What I'm saying is, how do like big channels like Third Phase, Secure Team 10, how do they remain just being able to do YouTube for a living and deliver the goods constantly? How do they do that? Oh, if that was the case, Stu, I guarantee I could probably grow this channel a lot bigger than it is. I've got basic editing skills. I guarantee if I did a few courses with you, Stu, there you go. I'm giving you a bit
of a plug. Yep.
Yeah.
Much appreciated.
Links in the description, people. But I guarantee if I started to learn some more stuff, I learned Photoshop myself. I think if I had a proper course in Photoshop, I could create anything, and fool loads of people. But I don't want to do that. But how do these people, the temptation's there for these big channels just to put something out, even though they know it's not a real UFO? They may not have faked it themselves, but they'll show it.
I think they have to diversify their content and maybe talk about the people in ufology. Maybe start interviewing and focusing on, like they almost kind of do it because they've got this sort of team of people which Rich is a part of. There's that girl Apollo. Is it Michael Sala? Is it? There's the ex-FBI guy. Why not interview them more in depth? Tell us more about these people. Tell us about their backstory, because I don't know much about these people. I see them in other documentaries popping up and here and there, but I mean, the guy that's like ex-FBI, I mean, what's his background? People like Nick Pope, for example.
Yeah, we get a name, don't we? We get like a title, and he's done this, but we don't get much backstory.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Pope's a great example of that because he clearly worked for the MOD, Ministry of Defence, and it's a bit of a kind of family gig in that I think his father and his grandfather, and maybe even other members of the family, all worked for the MOD, but he did not do half the things that he states that he's done. He's branded himself as the UK version of Fox Mulder. He shaped that narrative when X-Files was out in the 90s, and he carried it ever since. And that's why when, a UFO thing comes on mainstream media, whether it's in the UK, BBC, Sky Television, ITV or whatever, it's generally, or Channel 4 News, it's generally Nick Pope they get. And, if it's America, then these days it's either Stephen Greer or, in a lot of cases, the go-to man, it seems to be these days, is Jeremy Corbell. But I mean, Jeremy must be making okay money in the stuff that he's doing. And you can love or hate his document.
I think Jeremy Corbell was, from what I've heard, he was in quite a bit of trouble before the Bob Lazar movie. And that,
financially.
Yeah, that's on the grapevine. That's what I've don't
I don't know the guy at all.
Take that with a pinch of salt. But
Have you seen? Did you watch that Robot Head debunk of the Bob Lazar movie?
Robot Head debunk, Bob? No, but I need to watch it now. You have to send me.
You
a
really
link
do. That is, I put the links on WhatsApp for you. That is just brilliant. The way he rips into. Have you ever seen Aussie Man reviews?
Do you believe? Of course I have. Love Aussie Man reviews.
Right. He's a kind of Aussie Man reviews for. Generally, it tends to be Star Wars or Game of Thrones content he does, but for some reason he targeted his sights on Jeremy Corbell. I don't know whether he had beef with him or whatever, but he absolutely tore into that documentary after it came out and pointed out all these different things and found all these clips of Corbell and just absolutely panned the guy left, right, and centre.
What did you think of the documentary?
When I first watched it on I tend to watch things 3 times. I watch it on an entertainment level, first of all. Then I'll go through it with a filmmaker's eye, and then I'll go through it a third time as a video editor. And, take it apart. Is it, good, this, that, the next thing? And does it tick the boxes? Is it working as a story? All that kind of stuff. And I kind of liked it. I like Lazar. I like listening to him.
Mysterious.
But when you actually take out all the Corbell content of him actually talking to camera or talking to George Knapp and remove all that, it's very thin on the ground. It's the same with the Skinwalker stuff. I mean, once you take out all the Robbie Williams stuff and that, again, there's not much there. And that's a trap he seems to have got himself into. But again,
I would have liked to have been around that campfire that night. I reckon. I reckon that got messy.
I think they were smoking more than cigarettes. Let's put it that way. I think there was a little bit of the wacky backy, a little bit of weed going on there.
I see. When it comes to Corbell,
I don't dislike the guy. Can I say that?
No, I don't. I don't dislike him either.
There's things he does annoys me. I do think, like Greer and sorry to bring them up again, but Third Phase, to a certain extent, they're full of shit. But they are entertaining as well.
Speaking of entertaining, Jennifer Semi, I've not seen Siami, not seen you for a while, my friend. I think for entertainment purposes only, Third Phase of the Moon give help me out here, Stu.
Give coordinates up to viewer to think. I think to research.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Jennifer. Yeah, I mean that's what they do. We're just saying they need to do a little bit more. But thank you for the super chat.
I mean, it's
great
the same.
To see you.
It's like going back to Secure Team Tyler. Tyler, for ages before he went on that kind of hiatus bender, getting arrested and all that nonsense, and he got himself straightened out. But prior to that, every other blooming video was a satellite photo from Google of a potential UFO in Antarctica, when you can clearly see it's just like, a part of the ice cap that's, melted and it's a lake. It's just nuts.
He has a great way of reporting, though. Whether it's real or not. I said this to I messaged him jokingly, said if UFOs doesn't ever work out for you, you need to do a children's bedtime story channel.
Probably
Tyler, he would make a fortune. He's got a great voice for it.
Yeah, no, he's definitely a natural storyteller. There's no doubt about it. In the same way that James Fox is a great documentarian, but I mean, Rich has got a lot of talents in that respect, and he's good at creating voices and like if you watch his channel, he'll go off and shout his ma, even though his ma's not even in the house, talking about her meatballs and stuff like that. Stuff like that's brilliant, and it's funny and really entertaining. I mean, I can't even do stuff like that. I mean, I'm just vanilla in comparison. I'll come on and talk about things and give my perspective.
Just quickly, I've
Sure.
Stephen Cambion has just sent me a message on Twitter. He says he's in the cabin and he'd like to join the show. So
Ooh.
he's gonna. I've sent you the link. I think I've sent you the link. I've also sent Rich the link as well. That would be interesting if they both came on together. do you know,
Well, I get my flak jacket, my body armor, and a helmet on for that one.
I've just sent you the link, Stephen.
Yeah, come on, let's have a chat because I've never spoken to Stephen before.
He's been on the show. I think he's been on the show about 3 times.
I've always been like an audience member when Stephen's been on, but it's always been entertaining when he's been on. He could have had the Calvine stuff had he answered my email.
There you go. That's a good message for to everybody.
Check your emails.
Do you know what, Stu? I'll be honest with you, I could have missed that, but it popped up on my phone as I picked my phone up and it popped up and I just clicked on it and saw it. I miss stuff. I honestly think every podcast or whatever you want to call yourself, somebody who just makes videos, content creator, sometimes it's hard, and I think the bigger that you get as a channel, it's quite easy to miss stuff. So if you ever want to send me anything, send it over email. That way I'll get it.
I would agree with you there. I mean, I've got friends who have got larger channels than I have. I mean, I'm only at like 1,300 subscribers or something. My channel's tiny, but I mean, I've got a friend, Blake, who runs a channel all about mobile video iPhoneography and using iPhones for video and stuff. He's got about 80,000, I think, subscribers. And he said once he broke past, I think it was 10,000 subscribers, he couldn't keep up with the comments or anything. And what he does is when he launches a video or puts a video out, he'll be around for the first 30 minutes to hour of the video being up and he'll respond to comments. And then he might go back at a later date, and if there's anything that catches his eye, he'll answer. If there's a good question or something, but generally speaking, there's far too many comments and questions and answers, and people going back and forward about whether iPhone's better than Android or Android's better than iPhone or whatever. That you just got to let it go. And he showed me his email, his messages and his email inbox, and it's like 14,000 emails unread. And I'm like, dude, that would just drive me insane. I would just delete them all. If you can't get to them, just get rid of them, because, and it's like companies contacting them and other people just asking questions, and it would just drive me up the wall. So yeah, I think once your channel gets to a certain point, it becomes very difficult to respond.
Yeah. I do think though, as when you're doing it, especially when it's a subject like this, and I honestly do, I put out there, if you've had a strange encounter with something, I don't want an email saying I've just seen a UFO and I'd like to come on the show and discuss the fact that I saw a dot in the sky. If you've genuinely got a good story to tell, it needs to be told. Email me. That's kind of how I started doing the live shows. I need to go back doing more of that, and then it gradually just evolved into this UFO drama channel, and people.
I loved it when you did the blue tone and like just talking to camera, and you did a little skull vodka thing in the corner.
That was sent by a subscriber. That's I've still not drank that vodka to this day.
Is that what's his name's vodka?
No, Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd, that's what I was thinking.
No, it's not. He does the Crystal Skull vodka, but though it is very good vodka, and it has been filtered through apparently meteorites. So, but yeah, the reviews are pretty good on that vodka. I've not drank it because I did promise Tony, who bought me it, that I would do it on a special occasion. And I kind of always thought when I saved it, when it was building up with the papers that were going to come out.
Mm-hmm.
I saved it thinking it was going to be something special, and it wasn't. So at some point, I will drink it. I've got hiccups. At some point, I will drink not the whole bottle. If I drink the whole bottle on a show, I'll probably never do a show again.
You're as bad as my father, who collected little whiskey miniatures for years and years and years. And
I love good whiskey.
Well, so does he. Also do I to that extent. But he literally, as kids, dragged myself and my sister around every whiskey distillery pretty much in the UK mainland and in Ireland and anywhere else in the islands and whatnot. I mean, it was not a bad way of spending a holiday. But he always said to me, I'll never ever drink these miniatures. And I went away to college and then come back and he drank every single one of them. And you're talking over 300 of these things. He just went on a bender and drank them all. So you need to wait for special occasions, what I'm saying.
You while we're waiting for Stephen, because I have sent Stephen, I've sent you it. Anybody that knows Stephen that's got his message, that's got his number, give him a bell. Tell him I've messaged it, because I think he may have missed it because
Can you send it, DM it to him?
I have. I've just sent it.
I have you right. Oh, yeah, just in case you were emailing it to him. Sorry, you were saying something there.
You mentioned Linda.
Yeah,
and she's had such I would say she's had a very respectable background within the field. And she was on, was it Kurt Jamungle? She was on Kurt's channel.
Yeah, that was Stephen Cambion, who hopefully will be coming on in a few minutes. It was his question that.
It was his question.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was to me, it was a valid question.
Mm.
It was like, why are you showing a picture of an alien that was quite clearly from a PS2 video game or something? I mean, she got caught, and she knows she got caught. I mean, I watched that live and thought, oh, here we go. He's got another good channel. I mean, he's probably another good example, actually, of how to take the ufology subject and make it more legit. Mm-hmm. He's getting some really good guests on his show, but he covers more than just ufology. I mean, call the theory of everything. He's into the whole physics thing. I mean, that's where the mistake of, Greer was on his show the other week, and he said, I don't want to get into the physics, it'll go over folks' heads. And I was like, no, I don't think you realize who your two hosts are. These guys have got backgrounds in physics. They can take it.
That was entertaining to watch, especially when Greer got his knickers in a twist, and he was like, you just keep on. What did he say now? It was almost like he said to Kurt that you. Here we go. The man himself, and he's not got blue behind him. He's got wood. He's on the wood.
Yeah, how you
Steven?
doing, guys?
Steven,
before anybody starts lying, I am usually driving here during your show, which is why I always say no. But today, I had come here late last night, because I had business in real estate stuff in town here that had to be done, during business hours. So I came early. That's why I'm able to be here today,
Just for the record, Stephen, I've already at the beginning of the show, Rich got an invite, so Rich may pop in.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But how you be? We were just talking about Linda Moulton Howe on Kurt Jamungle with your question.
Yeah, it's kind of broke her in half. I didn't think she was going to. I didn't think she was going to. I knew she wasn't going to take it well, because she lives in a bubble where everybody, pretends that she's great and nobody ever calls her on the BS. But I didn't think that she was going to crack like that and get so heated. She called him hostile for asking a question. And then Kurt is a good guy, and he felt really bad about that. Like he was like, understandably, I guess, upset because he doesn't want to have the perception that he's like attacking his guest. But I think later he kind of realized all he did was ask a question. So yeah,
I think he needs to stick to that style though.
And then the worst part is that she did the same scam again 6 months later with totally fake alien pictures that were easy, like 2 minutes to find where the pictures came from. They weren't real alien pictures. So she gets caught so bad like that, and she just does it again 6 months later.
I noted, Stephen, that when Stephen Greer was on Kurt's show, you had put in questions, I think, and he didn't use them.
None of them.
And I bet you they would have been good if he had used them.
Yeah,
because
and
it would have put Greer under pressure.
In his defense, Kurt decided that the questions were too, he called it accusatory. My questions were too accusatory.
What were the questions?
I was asking about his free energy charity, which raised over $500,000 and gave the world exactly nothing, and what happened to all the money. Because you're required in the United States to file something called a 990 form every year. If you have a charity, you have to file with the government and say, okay, we took in this much money and this is what we did with it. You have to disclose
we have
that.
a similar thing here, don't we?
Yeah, and he never has. Or in his defense, maybe he has, and I just can't find them because it's 2007 and they don't keep records that long. I can't find the 990s. I've tried to ask him. I want to know, because now he's doing what I consider another free energy scam. Because now he wants everybody to crowdfund him $500,000 so he can make a film about free energy. But in 2007, he already had a charity that collected $500,000 to create a free energy device, and he didn't.
So can I just say, it doesn't cost $500,000 to produce one of those documentaries.
Exactly, and that's part of the problem. And it's, to me, it is a form of consumer fraud, because he tells people, I need $500,000 to produce this video. Anybody can, and he's done this multiple times now, anybody can look at the videos that he produces that's in the industry of filmmaking or documentary making and look at them and say, no way that costs $500,000. 10 or 20K.
I would say the likes of Unacknowledged, I would think maybe $20,000-$30,000 tops.
Well, let's be fair and say $250,000. Then what does he do with the other $250,000? Does he just pocket it? And that's not fair to say, I need $500,000 to make a film, and then only spend, let's be fair to him, play devil's advocate and say he spends half of the money, which no way that film costs $250,000, but let's just give him that. Then what happens to the other $250,000? And is it fair to tell people, I need $500,000 to make a film, and then pocket half of that $500,000 and not spend it on the film?
I think he owned up to what he did with it, because in Kurt's interview, I'm pretty sure he said he put in an $80,000 solar farm in his property. And I'm like, holy shit, $80,000 solar farm.
And meanwhile, I'm at a cabin.
You did get some free energy then.
I'm in a cabin, and my solar panel system here costs, like, including the batteries, maybe $500. You know? So I can't imagine what the hell he's running for $80,000. Even that, I don't believe. I don't believe he has an $80,000 solar system. That would be enough to power, a small village. $80,000. This guy embellishes everything. He goes to a social event. Yeah, he goes to a social event, and James Woolsey, a former CIA director, is there. He sits near him, and suddenly he's telling everybody that he's briefing this former CIA director about aliens and UFOs. And that guy corrected him. He sent him a letter and said, we sat near you at a social event. We were nice and listened to you, but you didn't brief me. You didn't, So he embellishes everything. He's a typical BSer,
Yeah, I don't know if all he said to you, but I'm actually in early stages of a documentary about Stephen Greer.
I heard that a little earlier. Yeah, I was listening
And I've already come across.
Well, you ought to cover Orion Project, the free energy charity. And
you did a show about that the other night, and that opened a complete rabbit hole for me, because I managed to grab the links off of your video, and I then went into the Orion Project stuff and went into the code, the metadata, like the actual HTML, and there's a lot of hidden stuff in there as well that maybe isn't just on the page, and I've been screenshotting all that and pulling it off. But no, the guy is full
Stephen,
of
did you watch? Were you listening to the show before? Do you know what's going on with Stu? What he's doing with Stephen Greer?
I heard that he's making a documentary earlier. Like I've been in and out of the cabin. I was working outside, but I had it on in here.
Cool.
So
I just wanted to make
no,
sure.
I heard him say he was working on a documentary, and I want to offer you whatever I have. You know, I have folders of different stuff. You know, I can get with you off air and share whatever I've come up with.
Oh,
but
that would be awesome.
Two angles that I would cover in a documentary about him is all the money grabs. First of all, the charity that raised, near as I could tell, more than $500,000, and all of these crowdfunding for my films, you know, that don't cost what he claims that he's spending on them is very problematic. And there's also these expensive, you know, events. He's having them at his house now, and only 20 people are allowed to go, and it's like $8,000 or I don't know. It's always a money grab with that guy. Disclosure is very expensive.
Can I just add this? Do you think it's always been that way with Stephen, or do you think things changed?
No, I think he got a sniff of the money, and then he changed. I think he was when he was young and had hair, he was like on CNN on a couple of UFO related episodes, Larry King, I think, and a few others. He seemed much more, at least appeared to me to be much more genuine, that he wanted to bring the truth out. And after a while, I think it turned into a grift for him, you know. And I don't care what people say, oh, he's a doctor, he wouldn't need to con people out of money. Like, he's making $500,000 at a shot every year. People are just giving him $500,000 every year. That's much more money than a doctor makes, you know. So yeah. I think it's all a money grab. It's all a money grab. And he hasn't produced anything. And I know a lot of people give him all kinds of credit for 2001, the Disclosure Project, but anybody could have paid a bunch of former senators to sit there and listen to a bunch of wackadoos tell stories. That's all he did. And some of those people were wackadoos. He had Clifford Stone in there, who, you know, besides recovering alien bodies and communicating with aliens telepathically later, he was a former senator in Rome in his past lives, and then he got new superpowers. Like, that guy was a wackadoo, and so were many of the people involved in that effort. So I don't give him much credit even for that.
Was David Adair one of the people that were in that press?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, and that guy's another bullshitting storyteller.
Yeah, you're not a fan of him either, are you?
I will say this. So Third Phase did put something out there, and I don't. Do you remember when they were talking about setting up Greer with Lou? Apparently, Greer was up for that.
Yeah.
Did Greer not kind of instigate that?
Yeah, Greer instigated that.
I don't think he did. I think.
No, he did. He started saying he was a CIA disinformation agent, and he's lying to everybody, and I'm here with the truth.
Do you think he would have?
It was a jealousy thing. I think it was a jealousy thing.
All right.
Greer's like, this Lou Elizondo is going to soak up some of this UFO money that should belong to me. That's what I think that was. It was.
Do you think Greer would have held his own against Lou?
I don't think much of Lou Elizondo, but I think Lou Elizondo.
No, but forget all of that. Forget what we think of those.
No, I think Lou Elizondo would have mopped the floor with him. That's what I think, because Lou Elizondo does have some smart people around him, and he has access to people skeptical like you or me, Ollie. And somebody would have fed him all the dirt on Greer, and he would have attacked him on all the dirt. There's lots of dirt on him.
So if Lou had have turned up on Third Phase of Moon with Greer on a live show, you think Lou would have destroyed Greer?
I think he would have destroyed him, absolutely, because there's just so much dirt on Greer. And on Elizondo, mostly what you get is that he over embellished his background, or he lied to the New York Times. He didn't really run a program. It wasn't an official program. That's all you have on Lou. And
there's nothing but opinions. There's nothing but opinions on Lou. I mean, I like Manny. He did a documentary that educated me on Lou's past, but
what I mean is that he's got Greer has got so much more dirt on him, you know, verifiably taking people out and charging them money, showing them solar flares dropping from a military exercise and claiming it was spaceships, and that's on video, him doing that. like, and anybody can look up that there was flares dropped in a military exercise right off that beach that they were at that day, that time.
I did think that was your question on Kirk Jumungles. It was it.
Oh,
he did ask me your question.
No, that wasn't my question, actually. I was focused more on the finances, and I think Kurt thought that my questions were too accusatory. And I try to rewrite them nice, but I guess they still weren't nice enough. I don't know, you know? And Greer also on that podcast, he claimed that he only takes $95,000 a year in salary. That's what he said. That's what he said. He said it. I clipped that shit quick. I'm like, I'm saving this shit before he realizes what he said. Because he can't have the vehicles he has, the properties that he has. I mean, I've done full background. I know a lot about this man, more than anybody should. I don't
flies
think that
first class.
Yeah, and I don't think he can sustain his lifestyle on $95,000 a year, but that's my opinion based on available evidence that I have seen. So I think, again, he's a bullshitter. He's like, oh, I'm collecting $500,000 this year, but I'm only taking 95 of it. Sure. And then I guess he'll take 95 next year and 95 next year from the same 500K. Like, that's my problem with him. I want to know how the finances work, because if you follow the money, something's not right. Like I said, disclosure's coming, but it's expensive. You idiots got to keep giving. How many more years do we have to give Stephen Greer $500,000 before we get the disclosure he's been promising since 2001? You know?
This is the thing, though, Stephen, when it comes to channels like yours and mine and Rich's channel, is people will say to us, we don't think you believe in aliens or UFOs, because all we do is just push it away. Whenever something's given to us, we just say that's bullshit.
Well, but generally we're correct.
No,
right?
I think 100% we are. I think what I'm asking is,
I have very specific standards for evidence. To me, it involves falsifiability, which means if somebody puts something out that they can't prove is true and I can't prove it's fake, then it has no value to me. It doesn't move any conversation forward. It just doesn't have any value. You get stuck in an impasse. Okay. And I love the people that put out stuff like, well, you can't prove it's fake, but they can't prove it's true. So to me, that kind of stuff has no value. Only the things that I can prove are true have value to me. And so I put things through the test. And if it's fake, it's fake. And it has no value. If it's possibly or probably faked, but I can't prove it, it still has no value if they can't prove it's real. So I don't know. And I've become more... People can listen to my early podcasts. I was such more of a believer. But the deeper you go, the more you go, that person's a liar and a fraud. This person's a liar and a fraud. This person's a liar and a fraud. This story's fake. This story's fake. This story's fake. And after a while, I guess you become more bitter and more skeptical. And I certainly have. And so have you, Ollie.
There's definitely a lot of bitterness in the subject.
Yeah.
Give me a couple of months.
I think what... Yeah, you will be, mate. Definitely. I think what I was asking there, Stephen, is has your beliefs changed over the years in what you think this phenomena is?
Oh, what do I think now? My best guess is that most of it is secret technology, because especially in the United States, not so much you guys over across the pond, but we have trillions of dollars going into a black budget hole every year, and nobody knows what they spend it on. Nobody knows what they do with it all, but you're talking about trillions and trillions of dollars. So, you know, I have not seen definitive smoking gun evidence that it's aliens ever. I'd love it to be. I think that's a much cooler explanation than a bunch of nerds at Northrop developing some top secret, you know, propulsion system. But I think most of it is secret technology or just misidentified craft. Look how easy it is to misidentify craft, or think that something's extraordinary when it's not. You know, like third phase rocket plume exhaust is a mysterious UFO. No, it's not. It's rocket plume exhaust, you know?
You had Lou on the show, Lou Hernandez.
Yeah.
And he's had some what I would consider some shady guests on the show. I think he would agree with that. He seems to have took a massive turn.
180. Yeah.
And he said something on his way out on the last show he did, which he was almost saying to you, there are no aliens, there are no craft retrievals, there's nothing. He almost said it like he has an inkling of what this is.
Well, he might have a better understanding than I do. I do still cling to Roswell as being possibly alien. There's just too many people saw things that I can't imagine that many people just making up stories near the end, especially near the end of their lives in some cases. Or there's a book that I always tell people to read. It's called Children of Roswell. And it's all about what some of these firsthand witnesses told their children, many of which they didn't tell their children until they were on their deathbeds. And to me, that's very compelling evidence. Why would somebody wait until they were ready to croak and then suddenly start telling their children, I saw creatures from another planet in 1947, and I just want you to know that we're not alone in the universe. I saw them. I'm sure they weren't from this earth, and all this kind of stuff. It doesn't make sense to me, you know. So I still cling to Roswell because it has the most evidence of any case that points to maybe an alien hypothesis. But otherwise, I see an awful lot of fraud everywhere, but I don't see what I would consider evidence of aliens.
Why do you think they put? I mean, I know it's kind of like going kind of away from what the original title of the live stream was, but I always do that. But why do you think? Yeah. Why do you think that Roswell was? Why do you think they changed their mind the next day when they said we've got a flying saucer?
Yeah, I think that like maybe the lower down people in charge, you know, just okayed that press release, and then the higher ups, when they realized what that object really may be, they were like, well, we have to do damage control. And there's two separate witnesses. A lot of people don't know this, but besides Jesse Marcel Sr., there's another person who gave testimony that said they switched the debris. That was not the debris that they picked up. There's Jesse Marcel said they pulled the fast one. They showed a weather balloon. They brought in debris that wasn't the same and said, you play along. And we have to go tell the press it was a weather balloon. And there was another witness there, a military man, who said the same thing, that was not the debris that they picked up, that they showed the press that day when they were given their, balloon explanation. And so that's very compelling to me. Why would they switch the debris? The only other thing I've ever thought about Roswell is it may indeed have been Horton brother flying wing aircraft or some other, or maybe early rockets from von Braun that they were trying to develop, and that's what crashed, and they didn't want anybody to know what they were working on with the Nazi scientists because it was still 47. People still had a bad taste in their mouth about Nazis in World War II. And maybe they wouldn't react well to, hey, we've got 100 Nazis out here in Los Alamos and we're building rockets, you know.
Yeah, we've got some Germans here that have just arrived in something that looks like a Tic Tac.
Yeah, and I got an education in von Braun from my father, who was a sort of.
I love the Germans, by the way.
My dad was a helicopter mechanic during Vietnam, and he was a huge enthusiast of rockets and aircraft and space technology. And so I didn't know, because in the United States, the history books left out the part that he was a Nazi and killed thousands of people with V-2 rockets before he was the head of NASA. They don't tell us that, and they leave it out, like, you don't need to know about his Nazi past. So my father had to educate me about the V-2 rockets and all that stuff. And, but he did get us to the moon, I guess. So after World War II, the United States did everything they could to get every piece of technology, every scientist, every good researcher into weapons systems and aircraft. And they brought them all over here and whitewashed all of their backgrounds. They became the good Nazis, Ollie. The good
Yeah,
Nazis.
the good Nazis. Going back to third phase and Greer, I know there'll be people that going, oh, come on, let's change the subject or whatever. But you're here for that. You love the drama. Don't lie. You go to Campion's channel. You come to my channel. You go to Goofon's channel.
Yeah, and I didn't even get a plug. It's Truthseekers, one word, on YouTube, and you'll find me. Just look for me, the strange guy with sunglasses.
I'm going to add you in the description.
Okay,
I didn't know you were coming on, brother.
Yeah, get on that. Yeah. Well, I figured I better do it now because I don't know when I'll ever be able to do it again. So
Stu is making the documentary on Greer.
Stephen Greer.
Should he involve third phase in that documentary?
Well, according to Rich, if you don't interview or request to interview the people that you are investigating, you're not doing you're a terrible researcher, and that's a strange issue because, quite honestly, and I just had to face this issue again. I just did this big report, and somebody mentioned in the report was pissed off that I didn't reach out to them for comment. Like, I don't think you have to. You can, and going forward, I am going to ask the subject of every show I do. If I'm investigating a story and it's about Stephen Greer, I'm going to email and ask for comment or an interview, so that at the very least I could say to the people like Rich, I asked. Crickets, because that's what you're going to get. Greer's not going to respond. Third phase might. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm planning to contact Greer directly and offer him a chance to, answer.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's fair. But this criticism of me, I don't think was really fair because in the case of third phase, I knew what I was going to get. I was going to get a bunch of excuses, muddying the waters, and obfuscation. They're not going to just come clean. Yeah, those 30 hoaxes, we did that. They're not going to just tell the truth. So I wasn't really interested in hearing their excuses. I knew they would come out and start making excuses anyway. So, but then I did offer that they could come to my show and we'll sit and watch the documentary and go through all 30 hoaxes and they can tell me how it's not a hoax. Because I think the evidence in that thing was overwhelming against them. So that would be funny to watch them sit there squirming, trying to squirm out of it, all 30 of them. And then we have the new recent documentary, which has, I don't know, I forgot when I made it to count them. I should have hoax number 1, hoax number 2. I didn't do that this time. But, that's another 10 or 15 of them, all of which are in the past 5 years. So the talking
Stephen, am I right in saying the two documentaries, somebody else made the first one and you made the second one?
Sapiens Culture made the first one. And to be clear, too, his isn't really a documentary. It's the first of a series called The Hoax Files. And he's going to be covering like ancient aliens and showing how that's all bullshit and a bunch of other subjects. So that was just the first of his series. But everybody started calling it documentary.
No, it was good. I mean,
so did I. I think it was excellent. Yeah.
Well, if
it was well researched.
It was great. But if he's worried about the copyright strikes from third phase, if he's doing stuff about ancient aliens, he needs to be know what he's getting himself into there.
They don't strike, they claim though. And I have had
all the revenue.
I have had about 7. I have had about 7 of those claims from Ancient Aliens for playing clips from Ancient Aliens, and I just file a letter and they take the claim down.
Into Thin Air, welcome to the show, my friend.
What's up, guys? Yo, I hope I'm not messing anything up with the audio here. I'm trying to figure this. This is all new to me, so
we can hear. You're a YouTuber. You don't go live though. You don't go live. Stephen, Stu, are you aware of Into Thin Air?
Nope.
Hi.
Yeah.
Yep. Welcome to the channel, my friend. I just want to.
I was gonna say maybe I should back out because I'm hearing myself double on my audio, and then maybe I should adjust some settings and then come back in.
Okay, if you're doubling, that's fine. You back out because I do want to address these mountains that Jennifer's talking about with Stephen. I'm not aware of Stephen's mountains. You back out, my friend, and come back in.
Yeah, and a true seeker, just so you know, man, nothing but respect, my friend. I just want you to know that right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I didn't know. Was there some drama I was supposed to know about?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely
Oh,
not.
good. Okay. There's too much lately. And I can't keep up. I can't keep up with who I'm supposed to not like. You know,
I happen to be. No. I happen to be I've been doing a little bit of like little side work for Third Phase of Moon and Goof On and stuff like that, and I've never had issues with them. I've never had issues with you, so I just wanted to make that clear. That's all. So,
okay, stay neutral like Sweden. That's best.
That is best. Stephen. So Jennifer's just saying, "Am I dreaming? Or is Steve dreaming?" Did Stephen? But did Stephen have your own experience at the side of a mountain? Was that with Angelique?
No, it wasn't at the side of a mountain. And I don't know. Maybe they're confusing me with somebody else. I saw a UFO when I was 10 years old in the woods, and that's what got me started down the rabbit hole. But it wasn't near the side of a mountain. It was just in a forest. And pretty.
I'll be back, gentlemen. I'm gonna figure this out. I'll be back.
Okay,
sure.
mate.
Just pretty typical experience. I saw something round above the tree line. Couldn't explain it. I thought it was aliens. I thought it was an alien spaceship my whole life growing up until I really started researching these topics. And now my best guess is that it was some sort of experimental aircraft that I saw.
But
or it was aliens.
Is that why you do this?
Well, that's what started me into the whole rabbit hole. I was obsessed with finding out what I saw. And then shortly after, you know, when I was growing up and like the Bob Lazar story broke really big. And I was kind of like, see, that was aliens that I saw. Those were flying saucer spaceships that I saw, and the government knows about it. So then I started digging into what the government knows, and I became convinced of that whole government cover-up, and they knew about the aliens. They may have some of the technology or crashes or been given it, and, you know, the whole rabbit hole. Yeah, but that's what started it out for me.
I'm right by saying you don't believe in Bob Lazar. You don't believe Bob Lazar.
No, he's a convicted pimp liar. That's what he is, and he's he was never a scientist. That's something that's it drives me nuts when I see people do articles on him and they say former government scientist. First of all, there's no proof he ever worked for the government except for a fake W-2, and secondly, he was never a scientist. Never. He was a electronics technician. He won't sit and talk to physicists because he knows that they'll know that he's full of shit. He was never a physicist. In fact, not long ago, his supervisors at Los Alamos came out and said he was never a scientist at Los Alamos. He was a low-level technician, the kind of guy who would bring you a new mouse if your mouse stopped working at your lab. He was never a scientist there.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Well,
it's Finnair. Welcome, my friend.
Yeah, no, thank you, dude. Sorry it took me so long to figure this out, dude. I'm not used to the live streaming stuff. Like I'm a, you know, I edit my videos, I do my narration over my stuff, and I put it out there like on YouTube. So I'm not used to like the live streaming stuff. You know what I'm saying? You like,
yeah, it's cool.
It takes a minute to figure out, but I think I'm getting it.
So you know, Stephen is this is Stu. Stu's making a documentary about Stephen Greer.
I've seen you a million times, man. I watch you guys together all the time. I know who Stu is. Yep.
He's only been on 3.
Stu. I've been watching Steve forever. You know, I've been watching fucking Goof On forever. I've been watching Third Phase and the Moon forever. Like I've been watching you, Alien Addict, forever, man. Like,
oh, appreciate
you know,
it, brother. You've got quite a big channel.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it is what it is. I mean, I started off with like weather and hurricanes and stuff like that, and then, you know, I dabbled into the UFO thing. Like, I don't know 10% of what you guys know about the UFO, you know, entire subject as a whole, but I'm learning, and I'm more of a breakdown person of a video. Like if someone sends me a video and they want me to break it down, like, you know, I went to college for a little bit for, you know, videography and editing and stuff like that. So I like taking videos, and I like trying to see if like people are trying to fake things or
Am
if
I
like,
right by
things look
saying
odd to me? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to prove or disprove whether or not this is a UFO or if this is some fucking floating balloon in the sky. Like, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm
you
not trying to be that
debunked
person.
the was it the German footage with the fly?
Yeah, and that was a mistake of mine. You know, honestly, that was a mistake of mine because I took that video and before looking into it and realizing that that was actually a bug flying across the sky, I posted that as if it could have been a UFO. You know, but
And you
I didn't
corrected
have
yourself.
enough. What?
You did correct yourself though on that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, right off the bat. Like I went
Well,
like
see, there's the
immediately.
difference.
Yeah, immediately I made a video saying like I'm embarrassed about this. Like I wish I had done 10 minutes more research and you know, it could have been a
I don't think
different thing.
anybody can blame you for making. Everybody's human. You're going to make mistakes, but when
Yeah.
it appears to you are intentionally doing it just to get the views, and you don't go back and correct it, that's when people think that's problematic.
Exactly. No, I agree with that, and
But I decided that I'm going to start posting all kinds of shit now, because here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to post all kinds of shit, and I'm just going to put a question mark at the end. And then I'm not responsible for saying,
I heard you say that in your live stream.
No, I've already got some videos that I took at the cabin, and maybe they're stars, maybe they're satellites. I don't know. I'm going to say alien spacecraft with a question mark. And
Steve,
if people can prove me wrong,
actually, believe it or not, you and me have had like some small like Twitter conversations about your patio and stuff. And how I was,
I remember, yeah.
I was like, dude, this shit looks awesome, man. I was like, you're doing a great job. Like, you're making this place look like someplace I would want to go chill and hang out.
Yeah, you know what's funny? And I think Anthony from Unidentified S4 and Ron from Cosmic Neighbors are going to come here. And Anthony's got all those. He's got the same camera that Third Phase used to hoax that helicopter thing, the psionics cameras and everything. So I'm at such a high elevation, you can see all kinds of weird shit.
Isn't Anthony an ex-cop?
Just so I'm clear, are you guys talking about the video where there's the helicopter with the bucket hanging from it dropping?
No, there's a separate video where they allegedly filmed a search and rescue helicopter right off the coast of Hawaii, and they turned up the something on the psionics camera to overexpose it, so it just looks like a big blob of light. But we analyzed the audio, and you can hear the helicopter low in the background. And also there's media reports of a search helicopter in that exact area at the exact time they claimed they were filming a UFO. So to me, that's a hoax.
Okay, so there was also a video I saw where like someone was dubbing up the audio to compare it and stuff like that. Is that the same video we're talking about?
It could be.
You hear the chopper.
Yeah, because I remember seeing a video where someone took like the actual audio strips and we're lining them up and Oh,
that's probably a separate one. Astral Citizens did that, and he found that somebody used a looped sound effect in an apparent genuine video. You don't loop sound effects if it's a genuine video. You don't need to mess with the sound if it's a genuine video, I guess. So there's a lot of layers of deception that are used to make for people to pretend that something is more fantastical than it is. But I'm going to start posting all kinds of shit. I saw a squirrel that looked like an alien. I'm going to post it with like alien life form found on mountain.
Dude, see, that's why this is so hard for me, man, because I talk to Goof on, like I'm in touch with Third Phase sometimes, but like I've never been involved when it comes to like what their footage is going to be. The extent of it has been, hey, listen, if there's anything I can do for you guys, if you have a video that you want me to analyze on my channel and just give my opinion, that's one thing. It's not like, it's weird how it even happened. Like I posted a video, I think it was a couple months ago, of like one of the satellite cameras that were posting like this weird thing that looked like a shield that was coming out, and I didn't know what it was. And we had comet. What comet was it? Oh God, there was a comet coming in, and it looked like Earth put a shield out just as the comet was passing by. and stuff like that. So like I found it interesting. I posted a video about it. In no way did I say that like, you know, there was some crazy stuff happening. I'm just saying, like, does this not look weird to you people? Like, you know, does it look cool? Like, you know, I want people's opinions. You know, I'm not trying to like hoax UFO videos or anything. I kind of slipped into this being a weather guy. Like I do hurricanes, I do earthquakes, like, and then I kind of slipped into this UFO type stuff. So like this is all new to me.
Well,
and
that's
like,
where they hide, in the hurricanes.
Yeah,
Ollie,
no
I'm
shit.
gonna have to go, mate. So
Stu, it's been a
I'll leave
pleasure,
you with
my
these
friend.
guys.
So
Yeah,
just
I will be in
nice
touch.
seeing you. Yeah, nice seeing you.
Just
I'll be in touch.
lastly,
Good luck with
Stu,
your
before
project.
you leave, so you are making the documentary about Stephen Greer. Do we have a name yet?
No. Suggestions on our postcard, please.
Okay, then, my friend.
Because it depends on which way the documentary is going to go.
Steve.
You're muted.
Dr. Stephen Greed, the Greer story. Or Greer or Greed.
Stu,
I
thank
like
you
it.
so much,
Right.
mate. You get
No
off to your
problem.
family. Okay, mate.
Right,
Cheers,
okay.
thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.
I've seen Stu's work, and it's phenomenal. He is.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it then. I'm going to give him everything I have if he wants it. And I've got a lot of stuff.
Hey,
on
don't
Greer.
you be stealing him. He's offered me the documentary.
Oh, okay.
But you can definitely help him out.
Alien. I appreciate you letting me like jump on. Now that I know how to like do this stuff, like I would like to do this a lot more. But
oh yeah, mate.
Unfortunately,
more.
I'm gonna have to be jumping off soon too because I have work in the morning.
Just
but
quickly before you do, because
Steve, I'm glad I got to connect with you. Like, believe it or not, like I really am. I'm glad
Good.
I got
Yeah,
to
stay in
connect
touch.
with you.
You should come and why don't you come and be a guest on my show and
Dude,
show some of your best stuff? That would be great.
Like I said, man, I have a lot of stuff on my channel. I do a lot of like the SDO cameras. Like I look for artifacts on the SDO cameras, like, and I leave it open to the public. Like I don't state anything. I don't state like, oh my God, this is a UFO next to the sun.
Yeah, I get it. And it
I
is a
don't do
weird
stuff like
situation.
that.
Like I just
don't
have
do
a problem with people purposefully faking stuff or playing dumb when they should know. You know, if you've got a whole team of professional UFO investigators, you know what a rocket plume exhaust looks like. You know what space debris looks like.
Dude, and
so if you put
why-
out those things and pretend you didn't know when you've got a professional team of UFO investigators, it's very suspicious and also conveniently makes you lots of money. You know, it's like it's a game.
Dude, I'm going to tell you right now, any money I make on my channel comes from weather videos and comes from earthquakes. And it's certainly not the UFO videos. If you look at my video lists, my UFO videos are the lowest numbers on all my videos. So,
well, at least we know you didn't jump in because you saw the numbers. Some people jump in and they see the numbers, right?
That is not why.
No. Me and Interfinev, we've been talking back and forth on Twitter for a little bit. I actually got in touch with him after I saw what he'd done with because I'll be honest with you, I was fooled. I put the bug video out and did a little
how
edit.
crazy was that? Like
I honestly, it looked like a UFO going in and out of the
that
cloud.
annoyed me so much. You have no idea. When I found out that was a bug, I was like, I lost sleep that night. I'm like, I can't believe I posted that video trying to tell people that this could be a possible UFO.
But
well,
the
good
reason
news
why
is you can educate people, and the next time they see a video like that with a bug, they'll remember and say, let's not jump to UFO, might be a bug, you know?
Yeah.
I'm interested in things like that, though. Like anything that will optically create an illusion in somebody's perception is interesting to me. So even knowing it was a bug, I would still look at the video to kind of see why it's interesting that people are seeing a flying spacecraft if it was shaped like that.
Speaking of which, Alien, did we ever figure out who was the one that actually faded the bug into the cloud to make it even look like that?
That was the company. That was the news company.
So the company, wait, I'm confused. Did the company try to pass this off as a UFO video?
Well, that's what I said. But
yes, they did.
What we think, possibly,
insane. That's insane to me.
Possibly they could have done and thought, let's leave that in there purposely. But so when these bugs come on the camera, apparently what they do is some sort of masking technique where they will mask them out, and the bug was only half masked out. So
what? I mean, they had like an excuse. They're like, oh, like I mean, did they write something about it saying like, listen, oh, sorry, we didn't finish masking the bug out, but
I have not been back to that original video in quite some time. There may be something there now,
to be honest with you.
but it was interesting. I mean,
it
was sloppy editing from their end,
or purposeful sloppy editing.
Yes, yeah. Stephen, that's what I think as well.
Purposeful. That's a good point.
Because he got everybody, probably got a lot of traffic over.
Wait till everybody see the editing on my squirrel aliens. I mean aliens, not squirrels. They're not squirrels. There's alien creatures in the woods, man. I'm sure of it.
I can't wait to see this.
Yeah, and since it's okay for Third Phase to do it, nobody's allowed to bust my balls about it. I don't care if it starts getting huge views. I'm doing it. I'm going to put it out.
Filmed the squirrel?
Well, no, but they've certainly filmed things that they knew that it wasn't what they said it is. So, but I'm going to play dumb too and pretend that I don't know what certain animals on Earth are that look strange, and we'll see what people think.
Steve, is that your like your cabin like?
It's green screen.
I've always told you, dude. I love your cabin setup.
Yeah, this is the original main cabin. Originally, I built just this one big room. Well, this and a bathroom in there, but this is like one big room that's like a kitchen. There's a couch over here. Up there, you could see the sleeping loft. But I have
you're working on the outside, like the fire pit and that whole area, like the porch area, whatever.
Yeah, and now I'm working on the porch and I'm finishing up the sunroom. There's another room next to this that's 12 by 24 sunroom.
That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. I'm excited to get this. Like I've been working here for like 5 years or maybe a little less, but just weekends whenever I could, I come here and I work on it. So I'm going to finish it over the winter, and then I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with myself here because I've been so used to working my butt off building things. I'll probably build a guest cabin. We have another plot of land next to this that's empty.
That's what I'm saying, man. You got to do inside work now. You got to work on inside shit.
Oh, that's what I'm doing over the winter. I'm finishing off. The bathroom needs a couple of pieces of the walls and the ceilings and some other stuff. And
yeah,
I'm going to finish.
Do you get to escape from the wife and the kids to that?
Yes.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, I do.
Yeah, but she's okay with it because she really enjoys this place in the summer with the kids, and my wife has a huge family, so they all come here too. Like we just make room,
that's awesome.
Her sisters come with their kids, and her mom comes, and everybody comes here. So she's kind of okay with it, and also I have a situation where I have the children all day during the week, so and try to run a business with children at the same time, and all summers are rough having two kids at home all day and try to run a business.
And another thing, Stephen, I wanted to mention this because you brought this up a while ago. You had mentioned something about not that this is like, I don't even know why I'm bringing this up, but like you brought it up, so I figured it's fair game. But you had mentioned that like you taking a break from alcohol was like a huge positive step.
Yeah,
like
I'm about to hit 150 days now.
Listen, man, I can 100% relate to you on that because I've had my personal issues with that myself.
On me.
In fact, in like even going into recovery, like into rehabs and stuff like that.
I almost went to one, but I decided I was going to do it myself. But I did go to a doctor once. I had an addiction specialist doctor that I'd go to once a week for the first couple months, just to make sure that I was medically okay to. He determined that I didn't need a physical detox. I just I was on edge, and
some of us do, but I
didn't get the twitches or the shakes or anything. So he figured I was okay. It was just a matter of the psychological aspect. But I have had nothing but a good experience so far. And now I feel like I'm like firing on all cylinders. I'm able to do more because
Your mind,
I used to be.
Your mind
Yeah.
works better, dude. It does.
Yeah, and I used to. There's
fucking-
no way I would get the amount of stuff done lately that I've been getting done if I was still drinking, because I would drink 10 or 12 beers, and the next day would be like recovery day. So I would just lay
Is
around
that every night.
You're
Every
worthless. You're
Every day.
worthless.
Wow.
It's like a whole day
Yeah.
wasted.
Yeah, so you're just. I'd have
know?
drink day, hangover day, drink day, hangover day. So I'd only get half of the work that I could get done now. Now I wake up and, you know, I don't always feel fantastic, but I'm not hungover, so I get a lot more done.
I was gonna say on the when you came on, because I didn't really. I was gonna say, Steve, are you okay with me actually?
No, it's actually
having
that's
a
fine.
can.
That's fine.
I only drink.
Today I almost cracked because I had this business deal thing and I had to go and I signed the papers and everything worked out. And ordinarily a huge like win like that in my life, I would go, time to have some beers and celebrate. But I passed the only bar in town and just said, no, I'm going to
my mentality.
I celebrate with a pizza, you know? So
but I'm saying that's my mentality. Anything good that happens in my life.
If you're truly an alcoholic, anything will. They go, I've had a great day, time to drink. I've had a shitty day, time to drink. You know,
exactly.
So I don't know that I'll ever not return to drinking, but I know that I'll never return to daily drinking.
And that's a good thought to have, because my biggest fear was the fact that, you know, I'm at my age and I'm like, wait, I can never drink again, and immediate anxiety just like flows
exactly.
over my body.
That's what happens to me. So you got to say no. I've been telling myself I may
today.
drink. Yeah, I may drink tomorrow, but I've made the decision for today. I'm not going to drink, but I may drink tomorrow. So you leave that possibility open for yourself so that anxiety doesn't crush you. Because the thought of I have to go till I die without ever having a beer again.
Yeah, dude,
that's terrible.
That fucks with me.
Feeling.
I can't handle that shit.
Guys,
listen, Alien Addict, guys, like, awesome. Thank you so much for having me on here. I got to jump off because I have a girlfriend that I got to talk to right now, apparently.
I remember when you still, Ollie, you remember when you still talk to your wife? Remember that shit? Way back?
Those were the days.
They're like, oh, the bitch wants to talk to me. God damn it. God.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're definitely doing this again now that I got this figured out. We're gonna get this
email
going.
me, because we'll get you on my show with some of the best UFO footage that you think you have.
I'll tweet you tonight. I'll be in touch with you in
all right,
in
awesome.
moment. So
yeah,
we'll talk soon. All right, buddy.
I need good guests. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
All right, man. No, I appreciate you both. Thank you so much.
See
I'll talk to you guys soon. All right.
Into Thin Air people, go subscribe. I will add you to the description, my friend.
Yeah. He should be bumping us, Ollie. He doesn't.
Yeah, he should be bumping us.
Yeah.
Wait. How do I even do that? Oh, actually, no, you're right. I got you. I'll post a tweet in a little bit. I got you both on it. We're good to go.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
All right, fellas. Talk soon.
Good call. Good call, Steve.
Yeah.
People call you Steve, or is it just Steven?
No, Steve or Steven. I'm not very. I don't care.
And thank you very much, Heather. You're the best too.
My mother used to correct people though. She didn't like people calling me Steve. She said that was lazy or something. I'm like, no, people just, it's easier. Like I don't. I didn't name you Steve. I named you Steven. Okay. You know.
Well,
I don't
my best mate's called Steven in the UK, and it is, I call him Steve. Or Frank. I sometimes call him Frank. Because he's like, have you ever seen that film Old School?
Yeah.
He does have a problem with alcohol, and he turns into Frank the Tank. But yeah, with the whole alcohol thing, I mean, I know it's a UFO channel, but I will mention this. I watched your video, and it was, I can't remember, it was so many days cleared from alcohol.
I did a 90 and a 120 day.
Yeah. I mean, wow. I've had my demons with drinking, and I managed to get it to a point when I can just I get one of these, which is 6 cans.
Yeah, and that's it. You know what? For a while, I was doing good doing that. I stopped buying cases, and I would go and just get a 6-pack, because then I'd only have a 6-pack. But when I had the case, and I would get a case of the big boys, the 16-ounce cans or whatever. I would drink the whole case, man. I would drink the whole case, or try like hell until I fell over.
I mean, that's just like I will drink that on a Friday now.
Yeah, that's okay. I think
on a Saturday I may have a few glasses of wine. I did get to a point where I was drinking every single night, especially through the lockdown.
Yeah, that's what happened. That's what I can't blame the pandemic totally, because I made my own
blame
choices,
the kids. Blame the kids.
The kids, yeah. Well, no, I think the pandemic really contributed to my problems, because my business went in the shitter. I had all of a sudden I went from a great thriving business to nothing in the space of 2 weeks, no income, and got to figure that out. And I think I was depressed over that, because I worked real hard building that business, and then suddenly no business, and and a lot of free time. I had tons of free time suddenly. So like, well, I'm not doing anything else. Let's drink, But I learned a lot in these past couple of months about all of that stuff, and I really am sure that if I do ever go back to drinking, it will be like you just said. Once in a while I may drink a 6-pack or a couple glasses of wine at a wedding or something, but I'm not going to go crazy like I used to.
I think if you'd gone for that long without it, I don't know why you'd go back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little scared that I may go, if I go back, it may start off small and go right back to previous levels, because a lot of people experience that. They'll say, oh, I'm only going to drink on Friday once in a while or something, and once they start, though, then they're like, oh, I'll drink Saturday too, Sunday, and eventually they get back to everyday drinking. So
that's how me and Lions Ground fell out. I don't know if you've heard the story, but he kind of called me out for having an alcohol problem, and to be fair, I probably did.
You were drinking on stream and stuff?
I drink on every stream.
Okay, well that gets dangerous if you drink too much, though.
Now I don't. I literally
yeah, I get it, but
these are like 4%, and I'll drink those. But he probably he said something on one of his shows that probably hit me at a low point. So I went and did a video where I just showed him saying what he was saying about my channel. He was saying the host drinks. He's got no respect for anybody who might be an alcoholic. If you're an alcoholic, don't watch the channel. It's that simple.
Well, we got to remember that everything is relative too. To some people that don't drink, you even drinking 6 beers is especially on stream. Some people may consider that, like, I don't know,
extreme.
Why are you drinking on stream or whatever? I don't know.
Because this is my relaxed time. This is
I would tend to avoid drinking on stream because I was always afraid I would say something stupid that I wouldn't say sober. So I would work and do the stream, and then I would get off and drink 10 or 12.
Well, I'm an extremely happy drunk.
Well, see, I'm an angry drunk, so that's the problem.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, he basically put something out there and said it was very selfish of me, and I was like, okay. So I played that clip on my channel with a little clip from Stranger Things, and it was something to do with Salty, and then I played his clip, and then he copyright striked me. Now, my problem with Heathcliff is copyright strikes. The exact reason why I defended your friend and did that video last week and did what I did with Third Phase of Moon is because I hate copyright strikes.
Yeah, me too. I don't agree. I don't care what somebody takes from my show. I heard another show host, his name is CW Channer. He always said, Grateful Dead rules apply. You can take whatever, just give me a link back. And I kind of feel the same way. Like, even if they're critical of me or making fun of me, it's fair use. And I do it, so I can't say somebody else can't do it,
It's not just that, but if you've got beef with somebody or you're doing the debunk or whatever you're doing, if it's against another channel, it's a back and forth. Take it like a man, you know. So that's so Heathcliff. I love you, brother. Your editing's amazing. You're a great researcher.
He's an amazing guy. He's an amazing guy.
He's a bit of a pussy when it comes to confrontation with me. I'm just gonna say that.
I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I would prefer that you guys.
It's fine. I invited him.
He's one of those people. I think maybe he holds a grudge for a very, very long time.
Oh, listen. Don't piss him off. He will hold a grudge with you for a long time.
I'm trying not to.
And he will come after you like a ton of bricks because that's what he does. Do you know he's bigger than what he was?
No, I know. Yeah.
He had nearly 100,000 subscribers, and he just deleted his channel.
Yeah, I don't know why he did the whole rebranding or what that was about, but
Lion's Ground is an amazing name, and it's better than what he's got now. But
I agree, and especially because like I have a thing for lions, and that was when I heard that name, I thought, man, I wish I would have thought of that. You know,
it matches his personality.
He is a bit of a lion, man. Yeah, he's amazing, amazing, and a talented guy, and a good researcher, and his edits make me jealous. Like I'm terrible compared to him, and I'm pretty good, but like compared to him, you know,
I'd have that man fight for me if it was something like if there's something about my channel. I would always contact Heathcliff. He's the one. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
and he will fuck somebody. The whole UFO proof thing with the cancer thing.
That came from him, yeah. He figured that out.
Well, it came from him, and it also came through a guy that we used to hang around with me, Lions Ground, Heathcliff, and a guy called Unirock. And
I know Unirock.
Yeah, it was Unirock through his military background that found out about Kyle.
Interesting. Yeah,
and Heathcliff got him to do that. So. And that came back to me, and he was like, put a video out about it. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. The reason why I didn't is the same reason why I didn't ever attack Tyler from Secure Team 10. I think if someone's got a drug problem.
No. And I don't know if I ever told you, but I'm one of the first people that got the dash cam footage. And I sat on it, and I thought about it, and I just decided not to put it out because I had my own issues, and it would be really hypocritical of me to go after him for that. And I thought he's got enough problems. I'm not going to pile on him or kick him when he's down. Sort of.
I got it the day it happened. I got
a couple days later. I got a couple days later.
It didn't.
But nobody
had
put it out.
I had it.
Yeah. Nobody put it out.
You might have got it same time as me. Then you got if you sat it for 2 days, I sat it for 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
But I've spoken. I don't know if you've watched my interview with Tyler.
I did. And someday I'm gonna message him and ask him for an interview myself because one day I don't know why, but he sent me a bunch of Facebook messages and then unsent them. So I don't know what he was sending to me or whatever. But yeah, he's a pretty interesting guy. But I agree with him that I think a lot of people used him and his platform to springboard, and it's unfortunate,
I'm sorry, mate. I'm just like literally. Someone just said Rich blocked my main account in the chat. I'm just looking at my blocked. I've just seen that Reek and Havoc's just been blocked.
Yeah, Rich is in there. Rich is in there blocking people in your chat if you have him being a moderator.
Someone banned Reek and Havoc. Whoever banned Reek and Havoc, that's not on. Don't ban him. It's a good friend of mine.
Oh, this is more drama.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Tyler is. I will say this, and he said on that interview, I have hoax stuff. He admitted it. Yeah, and I have more respect for him than Third Phase because he admitted that he faked things, and then he said the same kind of thing. Like, I'm moving on from that. I'm never going to do that again. I don't know if you've watched his stuff recently. I mean, I don't get a chance to watch as much stuff as I. No,
I caught a few, and it's better than what he was doing when he was putting up. I don't know. I always grouped him in with Third Phase. Like those two channels are trash, and there's nothing to see there to me. But lately he's trying to do it the right way. Like,
isn't it weird how Third Face call themselves the biggest UFO channel?
Yeah, and they also say voted best UFO channel on YouTube, and I just want to know where and who voted, because I don't know.
Where's that come from?
I think they just make that up, kind of like they say we have an entire team of professional UFO investigators, but nobody knows how to Google for 2 minutes to find out what something is before they post it. It's all hype and nonsense, you know.
I put this up at the beginning of last week's show, and it will quickly just show my intro clip, but
Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
also some friends of mine, the boys, Third Phase and Moon call they were calling themselves the biggest UFO channel.
I know what you're trying to do here. Look, man.
I just
look, man. Look, mate. Oi, look.
It's a good question.
I'm not.
It didn't bite. Drama farmer. You're like, there's not enough drama in this interview. Let me make some. Let me make some. So
I already sent Rich another invite.
He's going to be pissed off at you over letting me use your clips and you saying that they hoaxed things in the past 5 years. Isn't he going to be pissed at you? He's not happy with you, I think.
Rich.
Yeah.
We've been speaking this week. He seems fine with me.
All right. Well, good for you. You know,
I mean,
I don't want him calling you the P word because you said third face fake things, because that seems to be the pattern, or telling you that you're faking cancer when you're not, or anything like that. You know.
Well, I've actually had it, so.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, see.
Yeah, I had melanoma.
On that situation, the guy Gorilla Gamer posted his doctor's name. He posted the prognosis paperwork he got from his doctor with the diagnosis of his cancer and the treatment plan that his doctor gave him. He posted that all publicly on Twitter, and Rich is running around telling everybody he's faking cancer. And to me, that guy's got enough to deal with. He doesn't need somebody saying that. And I see Sheila Aliens is here. I want her to email me.
Oh, I want Sheila to come on the show.
Me too.
Sheila.
Shut up. I'm first. Sheila, you gotta email me, or I will email you. But the only email address I found for her is from her YouTube channel. Let us know if that's a good email address to reach you. Otherwise, I'm truthseekershow@gmail. Find my channel or my email and message me, because I'd love to hear what she really thinks.
I'll beat you to it.
God damn it. And people are saying that she was only nice to Rich because she was setting him up to punk him later or something. I don't know what that's about.
I think Sheila was the first one that I've ever seen.
That really called him out, yeah.
On a live show.
Yeah.
And it was just brilliant.
Yeah, people are still playing the clip of that. I played the clip of that. I made a video out of that. And so did the Sapiens Culture creator of this Hoax Files project.
But I mean, she's not doing as much on the Hot Told YouTube as she used to do.
Well, I think she had a child, and she decided to focus on
That'll
that.
do it.
And I say good for her. You know, there's more important things than YouTube, that's for sure.
This is why I only do one show a week. I've got 2 children, and it's like I work through the weeks.
Me too. And it gets really tough to do. You know, people want me to do 5 or 6 shows a week, and I struggle to do 3 or 4, but I'd rather do 3 or 4 that I really work on than just ramble shows every day or something. I don't think there's that much to talk about. You know, you got a good situation, 1 a week. You let everything go by, and then
just talk about the drama at the end of the week.
Yeah.
And the drama farmer. That's what
I wanted to tell you too. This Spooky has a documentary that Spooky's been working on.
Very good.
And it is so good, Ollie. It is the best. I think it's going to be the best documentary that anybody's ever made on a conspiracy land character. It is just incredibly edited. It's super well researched. There's all kinds of stuff in there. And it's a great story. It's just a great story of like where he came from and how he hit it big, making all this money, and the secret space program, I guess. Now he's saying he channeled all that information, so he never went to space.
There's such a risk, though, with putting these documentaries out. And I said this to Stu. So Spooky's putting this out. When you make a documentary, you've obviously, to make that documentary, you've had to use some footage. With what's happened to Sapiens culture.
Yeah, and I don't think that's fair that the person you're investigating gets to decide whether people are allowed to see the final, verdict and compilation of your research. That's not fair
he
at
would
all.
Have won that.
I know he would have too, and I try to walk him through it, Ollie, but he was concerned that they would still sue him, and he didn't have money for a lawyer and this and that. So I'm considering putting both on my channel because I know how to fight those, and I've won 17 of them.
I understand why you'd be thinking about it, though, because there is a risk.
Yeah. I mean, they could strike my channel, and then they could decide to follow through legally, and I'd have to go to federal court and prove fair use.
They could take my channel out overnight with what I've got up.
Yeah, you've got multiple stuff. And by the way, I just got rid of a copyright strike from Brian Ruha, the Nazi, for playing a clip of him interviewing the Nazi girl. He hard striked my channel. We fought that and won, and I believe that's 17 copyright claims or strikes that we have won since I started my channel. We've won every single one. So it's very, very difficult to prove it's not fair use, especially in court in the United States. I mean, what those two third phase pieces are is clearly criticism of them. Clearly, it's educational, especially because both are not monetized, so there's no money being made. That tips the balance of fair use 100%, especially the fact that it's not for profit.
I mean, this is the first. I think it's the first time I've ever heard about third phase moon striking a channel. That was something I always had respect for with them and with Tyler. That they
at least they'd let people be critical. Yeah, you kind of have to, But that I believe that those copyright claims and strikes and all that and claims of slander is purely an effort to stop as many people from seeing it as possible. I don't believe that has anything to do with their copyrights or fair use. They just didn't want people to see it, so they got it stricken off of YouTube.
100%. 100% Spooky. You can come on, mate. You can speak about your documentary before you release it. 100%. I'll be down for that.
It's really good, Ollie. I think it's the best thing that I've seen in Conspiracy Land ever. Like, it's the way that it's edited, and Spooky really has been working on that. I think, I don't know, Spooky can tell you, but a few years, I think. And Spooky was originally.
Have you seen it? Have you watched it?
No, I've seen parts of it as Spooky has been creating it, and every part I've seen has blown me away more than the last one I've seen. And just the research effort in it is like top notch, and all of it's just great. And I can't wait for it to be out, because I think it needs to be done. Like, somebody needs to show where these grifters come from and the whole story arc of him being super famous, making tons of money for a while, and now we see him on the downslope. He's getting ready to sell psychic readings like the Cleo lady, call 1-900 psychic fraud, to get your psychic reading. That's what he's doing now.
Do you think we've reached a point now where these I'm going to say celebrities of ufology are going to have to either fuck off or completely do a U-turn?
I think that we're rapidly reaching that point. I think it'll be pretty soon that, they're already starting to figure out, like, damn it, there's people out there. It used to be a lot easier for them to get away with some of the things they've gotten away with. But now you've got people like me or you or other people that are a lot more critical and really dig into what they're selling and showing people, peeling back those layers of deception and showing people what they're really selling. I think some of them are like, pissed off because now they have to work for their UFO dollars.
Yeah, I mean, Lee, who was on the show last week, Lee's like my brother. He's on a date tonight, I think.
Good for him.
Yeah. I think they're just friends though. But anyway, he has said for quite some time, when Third Phase has come on a show, on one of my shows, after the show, me and Lee usually have a couple of beers together, and he's like,
yeah,
he's like, Ollie, I bite my tongue for you and Rich. I'm like, well, you don't have to, Lee. I says, I really don't give a shit. But he says,
yeah, well, I think that was part of the problem between me and Rich, is that he's running around telling everybody that I said he can't be friends with them. And I never said that. I just said that he would have no credibility if he worked for them. And I did find myself having to bite my tongue constantly about them. And that's not fair. So what he's saying is, I'm not allowed to tell the truth about them and stay friends with him. That's what really happened here, and that's fine,
But Rich doesn't make a lot of money off them. You do understand that?
Yeah, I
he
agree,
only has Third Phase, as far as I know. He has Third Phase of Moon UFO Report. I know, looking at the views of that channel, what that channel makes, and that wouldn't buy me probably 2 of these a month.
Well, it apparently bought his silence, though, because you have to remember, it's not just the money that he's getting from them. He's got the right to use all their content on his show and talk about it. Nobody else can do that, or they'll copyright strike, apparently. And he also gets the benefit of association with them. How many do we know? How many of his subscribers came from Third Phase? We don't know. Could be half of them.
This is where we disagree. I think it's a friendship thing.
Well, good, but you can't be blind.
I honestly do. I honestly think with
that's
Rich,
fine, but
you forget I speak to Rich a lot.
Haven't you ever had a friend that was friends with somebody that was doing something dirty or shady, and you have to be real with your friend and say your friend is doing something shady and that might affect you? That's all that happened here, You
mean like my old friend that my wife used to really hang around with a lot, like? I know, and I'm joking. Yeah, I know what you mean. A friend that was a little bit dodgy, and
yeah. So you, as a friend to that person that's friends with the dodgy person, have to be real and say that person's
dodgy friends.
Yeah, especially in this thing, it's like it's a scale. Like, how much dodginess are you willing to accept, though? And I'm all for being loyal to your friends, but when they're doing shady, dirty shit, you can't lie through your teeth to protect them. You can't do that.
Steve, I have not fallen out with Third Phase of Moon, though. Literally, I'm just saying you are full of shit, but I'll still be friends with you.
Yeah, I mean that's.
I don't dislike them. Them faking UFOs in the past and the present, whatever. Yeah,
last week, yes,
doesn't affect my life. If anything, it gives me something to talk about.
No, I agree with you on that. Yeah.
I'm at a stage with UFOs now that most footage it doesn't even interest me. That sounds really bad for a UFO channel. I know it, but when somebody sends me a piece of UFO footage, unless it makes my nipples like
hard. Yeah, no, I'm in the same way. Like, it's when people send me stuff that's dodgy, or it could be a cloud, it could be a drone. I'm not interested. It's got to be out of this world footage, or I'm not. It doesn't excite me. I'm not interested.
So Third Phase of Moon don't affect me that way. But I can.
Yeah, I think I just got pissed off because I got tired of hearing the stuff from Rich and them saying they've changed and they're doing things the right way. And then Rich really hyped up that Stephen Greer documentary so everybody would buy it. And it's garbage, and they still owe me $13. I want my money back. I want my money back.
I did support that.
You dumbass! You should have screened it first before you recommend that people bought it.
I mean, I like to support. I honestly do like to support all the different UFO creators that make documentaries. I think it's great to support them if they're doing the right thing. I will say this though. would they have got great? So if you were doing that documentary, and you had an opportunity to interview Stephen Greer or bring him into your show. So right now, in the position that you're in, for some reason, Stephen Greer just takes a look at you, go, "Fucking hell, I like him. I'm gonna work with that."
No, here's what I would have done if I was in their position. I would have let him say whatever he was going to say. The problem that I have is that they didn't do 2 minutes of fact checking of the things that he said. And I think that documentary would have been entirely ethical and moral and okay if they had at least had said something at the end, like, we're unable to verify that an entire company in Michigan ever got murdered. We're unable to verify that he went on a secret mission with the guy from ZZ Top. You know, that would have been fine. But the fact that they didn't even fact check him, and these things, especially the Detroit, Michigan, or the Michigan company all getting murdered, it takes 5 minutes to go look at, see if there's media reports. And then there was excuses. It's not like somebody went in and shot them all at once. But still, if an entire company got killed over even a 5-year period, there would be some news reports, there would be police reports, there'd be investigations, there'd be some proof of that. The problem is that Dr. Stephen Greer bullshits. That's what he does. And you got to call him on that, or it's not a documentary. It's a fluff piece to me, you know?
But as a business for Third Phase of Moon wanting to get a second documentary out of that guy,
yeah,
if they'd have done that, they have I would say they have a close working relationship.
So they sold out their morality and their ethics to make more money with a liar, in my view, you know? And Rich said that too. Rich said, well, if they had fact checked him, he wouldn't have done the documentary. So you're admitting that
them again.
Yeah. You on purpose let him lie in your documentary so you can make money. To me, that's slimy. It's not something I would do, but everybody has to determine their own level of morality. If you're in the business of selling bullshit like they are, there's some good bullshit that was in that. But it's bullshit.
Let's face it, it's a business. We've been speaking about this for. Well, I've been speaking about it for years. I don't know about you, Stephen. I think I found you about a year or so ago, maybe 2 years. It probably was. I don't know.
Yeah, but maybe. Yeah.
I've been speaking about this for years. About this being it is a fucking business.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, I understand the entertainment aspect of it. So for some people, it's just entertainment. But I think for experiencers that got into this to really find the truth, you know, like somebody like me is offended that Third Phase puts out a documentary full of fake information about aliens, because it just muddies the water and it's garbage and it's not verifiable. It's not true. It's not real. So it just muddies the waters. It doesn't do anything for my quest or search or most other experiencers. It just makes money. It's entertainment. You know, Greer tells fantastic stories, but there's no proof or truth to them. And to me, that's not a documentary. Then it's a propaganda piece or a purposeful, you know, retelling of fairy tales.
I couldn't agree more. But when you've got these channels and interviewers and what have you, that are, even if it's
they
on
all
YouTube
play ball.
Or television, they play ball because that's where the money comes from. So how do you can't break that? It's impossible.
Yeah, I don't know. My strategy was,
that's our job.
Yeah, well, especially people like Anjali. I interviewed her, and at first people were very critical, but they didn't understand that I interviewed her because I was going to do a whole investigation into her whole story, and I did. And in that case, I think, you know, people can be, oh, you hosted a hoaxer. I'm the one who proved she was a hoaxer, so it's okay. In that case, you know, I just think that you have to do the whole story. And a big thing in UFO land is the lie by omission. Like, isn't this a great story from Dr. Stephen Greer? He went on a secret mission with the guy from ZZ Top to an underground base, and he saw alien technology that could regrow limbs. Isn't that a great story? Yeah, it is a great story, but there's no evidence or proof of that other than this guy telling the story. So I think you got to do the rest of the job, which is to at least admit, or it's lie by omission. That's a really big thing in UFO land. You just leave out that you can't prove the story the guy was saying.
How crazy is it going to be if Stu Little gets ZZ Top on and he says,
I tried and I did jump the gun, but I learned a valuable lesson never to jump the gun, because I got to that guy from ZZ Top's publicist and to his tour manager, and both of them. One guy was real chatty, and so we talked for a while. He's like, "Yeah, Billy's really into UFOs and aliens, so he probably at least knows Greer. I think he might have went to one of his things where you see the aliens." So I was like, "Yeah, tell me more," you know. And then he said, "I promise you, I'll talk to Billy and see if that story is true or where Greer might be getting that from, and I'll get back to you." So I wasn't going to get to interview Billy Gibbons or talk to him, but the people that work directly for him, both his publicist and his tour manager, both told me, send me the clip of what this guy said. I'll play it for Billy and see what he says. I'll write it down and I'll get back. Because I said, just get me a quote, even if this really happened or not. They both said they would. And then I followed up several times. And once they said, one of the guys said, "Oh, I didn't play it for him yet. I'll do it this week." And then I called him back, no answer. You know, I tried, but I really thought I was going to get the quote when I said I'm going to get to him and see if that story is true. But, you know, I'm not the one putting this fantastical fake story out. It's not my responsibility to prove it's fake. It's the Cousins brothers' responsibility to prove the story's true, and they never will, in my opinion. If they did, I'll do a show on it. That'd be a good show.
Yeah, it would be great.
And the ZZ Top guy going on a secret mission. That's awesome.
The thing is, you're never going to, as a business, you're not going to ever try and fuck off your clients.
No, I get it. But, you know, I've just made my peace with that. So, like, if I ask one of these UFO celebrities for an interview and they say no, I know why they're saying no, because they know that I'm not going to softball them and play ball. And honestly, that's been very helpful to me to find out who's full of shit. Because if they're not full of shit, they wouldn't mind hard questions, you know. But everybody's got to make their own line, though. Like my line is, I'm going to ask the hard questions. I'm not going to softball you. I might in the beginning to just, you know, build a rapport before I hit you with the hard ones. Everybody's got to make their own decisions. And some people just instantly decide, I'm going to play ball. I'm not going to press. I'm not going to ask for evidence. I'm not going to fact check. And I don't do that. I've just decided I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do that. So, you know, money be damned. I'm going to do it my way, which I think is the right way, the ethical way, the moral way.
So you addressed Dr. J and his interview with Dr. Reed.
He's not a doctor, but you can call him Dr. Reed. Yeah. The fake Dr. Reed, yes.
And I would say, and on the back of that, I got inspired. Yeah, I'll be honest, and I wanted to talk about that because it's in my drama field. Yeah, I like that. But I think some great work was done there, mainly by yourself. But to second that, I don't know if you remember hearing in that interview that they would be working together in the future and doing more stuff. I think maybe that may have been plugged.
That
bullshit's been plugged.
What's also been plugged is that when that same fake doctor went on Jimmy Church is when I brought the whole debunk back out again. It had been completely debunked as totally fake, and that guy was fake and not a real doctor. All that information was late 90s. So when Jimmy Church hosted him, telling the same old stories and pretending to be a doctor, I brought it out and did another debunk and showed everybody. And Jimmy Church was supposed to do 2 parts to that interview. He never did the second part. And yes, Dr. J was supposed to do more with the fake Dr. Reed and hasn't yet. So, but it's like whack-a-mole. Somebody else will be willing to play ball with that guy and help him sell his garbage.
So do you think if you hadn't done anything, if you hadn't have mentioned that?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think Third Phase would have gone with that?
Oh, yeah. They would have ran with that. They would have ran with it. They would have played his footage. They would have interviewed him. They would have hyped it up. They would have had clickbait titles. That's my opinion. Who knows now, you know? Hindsight's 20/20, but I think they would have, you know? And the fact that they did co-sign it. They went in the chat and they said the story's true because Jaime Maussan said something about it being true.
That guy's full of shit anyway. So
yeah, that guy's the biggest full of shit. That's why I have a lot of reservations about the James Fox film, because Jaime Maussan is 100% behind that. He is pumping that every day on his Twitter, telling everybody how great it is. I do
like James Fox though.
Me too, but I think he's off to the dark side now. He's
yeah, but again, it's a business, and so as somebody who I don't know much about business, but I do work with clients, and I see a lot of dodgy real dodgy shit going on, and so you kind of understand what's going on when it comes. So anybody who's got a business, I'm speaking in code here, but I need to. But anybody who's got a business, and sees or works for a big company and sees different clients coming and going, you will see them all speaking about each other, the different businesses that are going on, and oh well, don't work with this guy or whatever. Like that goes on, but if somebody's got the money and you're doing the right thing, and they're going to offer your business an uplift, why would you say no?
Well, if you're going to do it the right way,
out of morals.
I don't know. Everybody, like I said, everybody has their line. Like, I don't want to lie to my audience by omission. In other words, I don't think that I would want a guest or a project where somebody was telling fairy tales that I didn't step in and say, I've been unable to verify this story from this person, you know, or something. At least don't lie by omission, you know. But I get it. Like I said, everybody plays ball because that's how the money is made. Look at the believer channels compared to your channel and my channel. Look at their views. Look at their subscribers. They have 10 times what we have. So we do take.
They've been around a long time though.
Some of them, yeah.
Most of them, but yeah, I know what you mean. If you change your channel overnight to a just putting it out at any old UFO, can you tell me what this is?
I'm going to start that. I'm going to start that next week. I've got some excellent footage of a squirrel. Of alien. In a mountain alien, and I got some incredible footage of a satellite. I mean, a UFO, and I'm going to put it out there. And nobody, including Rich from GoFund, is going to be allowed to bust my balls about it because it's okay for Third Phase to do that, which means it's got to be okay for me to do it.
Are you going to put it out and put like a little Easter egg in the description?
Oh yeah, you know me. I will make it clear to anybody with eyeballs and ears that it's a goof. I'm going to do it as a goof.
We've been going for like what, nearly 3 hours now.
Oh yeah, I got to go actually. So
I was hoping Rich would just jump in. There was no. Can I just state to the audience here, and you know this as well, there was no entrapment here. Stephen messaged.
No, I did because Ollie's always asking me to come on, but I give you the honest to God truth. I am always driving to the cabin at the time that Ollie broadcasts, and I have bad vision. So for me to be on your show, I'd have to drive at night, and I can't. Anytime I can avoid that, I do because my vision is terrible, and I don't like driving at night, especially these winding mountain roads up here, you know. So since I was here and I noticed you were doing a show, I said I'll try to jump on there. Yeah.
I kind of expected Rich when he saw you in on the.
Well, you know, he likes to say that I'm afraid to debate him or so. Like, I don't think there's any debate. So whatever, you know.
He has said every week. Get him on. I will talk to him. I won't be friends with him, but I'll talk to him. That's what he said. So, well, anyway, do you ever see you and Rich getting on?
Well, he said I have pedo friends and that might make me a pedophile. Then he made a video making fun of my disability. Then he brought my wife and children into this disagreement. Then he made fun of my dead father on his show. And now he's telling people, I guess I would consider a friend, that they're faking cancer. And you know, at some point you say, no, he's a shitty person, regardless of whatever else. This is not somebody I would choose to be friendly with. You know, I don't want to have friends that do that to people or act like that. It would reflect badly on me. And the truth is, he can say whatever he wants. We were never like friends. He doesn't even know my cell phone number. We never had a conversation off air. We had some Twitter messages back and forth. That's it, other than on-air conversations. So yeah, people confuse this online thing. Like, Ollie, you're my online friend, but you know, there's a real world out here, you know, like
I'm coming to that log cabin, you know it.
Yeah, you're always welcome, you know. Yeah, but you know, I think people confuse that online friendship with a real friend or whatever, you know. Not that you can't have friends online that are real friends, but he didn't have my cell phone number, and that's not something a friend does. Like, and again, I got in an argument or disagreement with Third Phase. The next day, he put me on blast, started telling everybody I'm lying. I have no evidence. They haven't hoaxed anything. They never hoaxed anything. All this stuff. He could have messaged me and talked to me off air about all that, and we could have squashed it right away. And instead, he chose to tell everybody that I have pedo friends, and that's not true, of course. And he did the same thing to Out There Channel, and I don't think there's any. You know, I don't hate the guy. I feel sorry for him that he needs to sell out for pennies and sell his morality. I don't hate the guy though, you know. I best of luck to him in the future. That's what I'll say. Good luck.
Well, I'm glad you ended it on a positive note.
It's as positive I could be when people run around telling people that I may be a pedo, you know. I mean, you got a wife and kids. You can't have people saying shit like that about you, especially with absolutely no evidence.
I don't. You know, if somebody said something like that about me, Jesus Christ. For one, I would see. I've got. I don't know if it's because of where I'm from in Britain, but I'm kind of like, I wouldn't say I'm a fighter, but I'm more of a get my own back guy, you know,
Yeah.
in a comedy way. So
yeah, I mean that's what I did. I kind of laughed about it, and I made a documentary where Rich keeps screaming, "They're hoaxers again!" And like, yeah, I did the same. To me, it was like, okay, you know, I'm the same kind of way. Like, I thought it was funny, and I thought it was funny that he doubled down, tripled down. He seemed on your show though to be like right ready to come out and say, yeah, they faked that one.
Oh, because Rich, he knows.
He knows. I think he knows they faked that.
He knows they faked that. Yeah, of course he does. Of course he's just good friends with them.
And it's about saving face too. You don't look real good when you've been telling everybody they haven't faked anything. They haven't faked anything in 5 years, to then admit you were wrong. He's one of those people that never admits they were wrong, I guess. You know, I don't know. I make mistakes, and I just say, hey, I made a mistake.
I will admit that Paul, yeah, he finished off my debunk and got it right. I got it wrong. I said they was holding up a piece of glass. They weren't. That piece of glass was there the whole time.
Yeah, and by the way, I truly believe that they lied about that being two separate locations. I've looked at it multiple times. Paul's looked at it. He believes it's the same location. I believe it's the same location. I had somebody else look at it. There's too many data points that are similar in the two videos. It looks to me like that's the same location, you know? And it just so happens to be glass panels at the daylight location that you can clearly see. And the debunk of Paul's, as soon as you filter the nighttime footage, you see the pane of glass and the reflections and the sides of the glass.
You know, this is it's not the reflection. This is why they took it out. This is exactly why they took it out.
Oh, the 9 takes. Yeah, the practice takes.
That they realized afterwards that they had that in.
Well, that and people in the comments were hammering them all, saying it was a reflection.
Yeah. I put
And by
some
the
of
way, Ollie, I did just because I wanted to be sure I wasn't crazy. I sent the video of the UFO to at least 3 or 4 magicians that I know, all familiar with Pepper's ghost, and I asked them a simple question: is this a reflection in glass or is this a real object in the sky? Every one of them looked at it and said Pepper's ghost immediately. So, you know, they can argue with a bunch of professional magicians that know how the tricks are done. And by the way, they had somebody working for them that was a magician for a time. So that's who's telling them how to do these things. They have a magician working for them. They've posted magic tricks multiple times. The Superman thing, that's an illusion called the lean from the world of magic. They're using this Pepper's ghost. They like magic tricks, but they do them poorly, you know?
Yeah. I like, did you hear what Scott Browne said they should do?
Yes, and that would be the proper way to do it. And I may start doing that. I may do it exactly that way. If I get a weird video, I'm not sure what it is, I'll put it out. And what do you guys think it is? Yeah. And then the next day I will take everybody's comments and my own research into the event and then show you what it really was. That would be fine. But they don't do that. They never do the update, or almost never. A few times they have, but I think they got forced to because they knew that it looks real bad that they didn't, you know?
Well, Stephen...
But I have that, and I'll have my new series of fantastical alien and UFO videos coming real soon.
Well, that's what I was just going to get onto, because we're approaching 3 hours. I was just going to say, what is it you've got planned in the future?
Well, I have this Honest UFO conference that's coming out soon. It's going to be like an 8-hour Honest UFO conference. And what we did is we took all of my masks and character pieces and put them together. And Jimmy Needs Church hosts the whole conference. And then some of the UFO celebrities take lie detector tests while they're at the conference. It's really funny. We're putting it all together. It's going to be like 8 hours long. I have that next big project coming up. And then we've got a bunch of interviews coming up and more investigative stuff. We're continuing this Murder in UFO Land series.
Yeah. I've not watched that yet. I was going to watch that today.
Get some popcorn. That's a great story. It's a great story.
I am watching that tomorrow I'm driving to my grandma's tomorrow to take her shopping. And now take her out for the day, so it's a good
watch it. It's a good story.
Well, I'll be listening.
It's really only an hour and 40 minutes. The rest is like live chat interaction and stuff. But it's great.
This is going to be a series, though. Am I right?
Yes, believe it or not, a lot of people get too deep down the rabbit hole of UFOs and aliens, and they go crazy and kill somebody. It's much more common in the United States, at least, than people think. I've got 3 more cases of this to cover.
Wow. Fucking killing somebody over a UFO. Insane.
And aliens.
And aliens. Well, I think, and no offense, a lot of the craziness when it comes to UFOs, how we see it in the UK, because, like, if I tell anybody in the UK that I have a UFO channel, it is extremely it's hilarious to them. Absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, I know. I have family members. They're like, you have a whole channel talking about that stupid shit? I'm like, yep.
It's accepted, though, I think a little bit more in the States. Or is my perception of that? Is it all?
No, you're right. It's much more popular in the United States. And you can see that by the news coverage that we have here versus England. It's almost non-existent in England, you know?
Rendlesham Forest in the UK is just a forest. Nobody actually knows what went down in that forest.
Yeah, not definitively. There's lots of stories, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna have. I've got some boys coming on that have camped out over there a few nights and saw some crazy shit. Well, apparently, that's what they say anyway. That's what they always say. But Stephen, mate, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, I'm glad I could finally make it here. I'm gonna go clean the cabin now. That'll be fun Saturday night or Friday night.
Oh, mate, no, just get yourself chilled out, having a smoke.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Why would you clean it?
because it's getting pretty raunchy in here. My wife hasn't been here since summertime, so every once in a while I do clean.
Oh, you need to clean for when she arrives, so you can go. Yeah, see,
she won't be back here. She hates it. She hates it when it's cold. She won't be back here until April. She hates it when it's cold here. So, but being a man, even after a while, it'll start to disgust even you. So you gotta clean it up.
Oh, yeah, just a little bit, yeah. If it just starts to grow, stuff, this
clear
alien
the
life on it.
Yeah.
All
right, well, and I'll get you Spooky's contact information if you want.
Yeah. Love to get him on. When's he going to release it?
I don't know. I don't know when the release date is, but I think it's getting soon because Spooky's talking about going on shows and talking about it.
Well, obviously you're going to have him on first because it's your buddy.
I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
Then you can send him over to me.
I think it's not even going to be a documentary because they have so much material. It's going to be a whole docu-series of like multiple episodes, But
awesome.
Yeah, I'll be in touch about that. And thanks for having me. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Oh, and I did say that you could suck a cock once on my show when I was mad at you.
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, well, so I'm apologizing.
I never
just want to apologize. You like the drama. I once did tell Alien Addict to suck a cock on my show, and that was
I need
wrong
to see
me,
that clip. I need to see that.
I was angry because in my view, you let Rich come on and tell lies about me, and I was like, Ollie could suck a cock or something like that, and so I apologize. I'm over that now, though. I'm glad we could, not, continue.
I would have played that clip.
I'll get you the clip. I will go find it. I'll get it for you.
I'll send it to you.
Okay. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Ta-ra, friend. Stephen Cambion, people. Yeah. See, it would have been great if Rich had the invite too. But his show's he's probably live now anyway, doing his show. I get why I wouldn't come on though. I get it. And Sheila's Aliens. Been a big fan of yours for a long time. You got to come on the show. You've got what you did with Blake was just it was beautiful. It was beautiful. But I hope you've all enjoyed the show, people. I know I bring a lot of drama to the table. And if you don't like the drama, well, don't watch the show. That's all I'll say, because it's kind of like I'm not a ufologist at all. I know nothing about aliens. I'm like you guys in the chat. I like to watch the stuff that's going on. If something happens that is an amazing report that I feel like I need to discuss it, I'll discuss it. But if it's not making my nipples stand on end, it's not going to be on the show. So you're probably going to get a bit of drama. So, yeah, I am what I am. But I love you all amazing. And if you want to support the show further, you can. I'm plugging it, woman. Shut up. Jesus Christ, honestly, she's always telling me to say. Right, Jeremy Corbell and Bob Lazar find their t-shirts extremely comfy. I don't know why they wanted me to shoot them in black and white. They insisted. But yeah, you can go ahead on over there, get yourself an Alien Addict t-shirt in the description. I make all my own designs. They're beautiful. Yep. I need to get myself an office. That's what you'll be paying for. My office will be a really tiny little room in there. They'll have twinkly lights and all that. If you want to support the show, support it. If you don't, if you don't want to put money down, you don't have to. Just give it a thumbs up and share it out to your mates. You can become a Patreon though, because I'm usually naked on there, which doesn't go down great. I'll be honest with you, but some people like it. Some people have left. I'm Alien Addict. Good night. God bless. By the way, I'm not drunk. I've had 4 beers. This is just me. Good night. God bless. Mind the bugs don't bite. I'm Alien Addict. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'm going to end it now. If I can remember how. There you go.